ズバリ賞
流星バッジがもらえるんだ。フラッシュビーム型ボールペンもあるよ。
シスコウルトラマンチョコレート新発売。
あの怪獣は今
スターと呼ばれた青春だった。力の限りの青春だった。時は過ぎゆく、時代は変わる。それでも僕らは生きてゆく。広い社会の片隅でつつましやかに生きてゆく。さあ送ってください、君の傑作写真を。バンダイウルトラ怪獣大変身コンテスト。
セブン。
とことん探そう。広い部屋。
お部屋探しのヒーロー。
金曜発売。
Today on Collect All Monsters, David, Jonathan, and I are experiencing a bit of FOMO because we're not at GFest. I mean, we are celebrating the life, legacy of special effects director Eiji Tsuburaya. Ikimashou!
Why, hello and welcome to Collect All Monsters. Eiji Tsuburaya's here.
And here.
I mean, I don't have my Eiji Tsuburaya on screen. That's okay. Welcome. We are here talking about all sorts of cool stuff this month. This is actually a very, as you can tell, not shortened. That's not the right word. Abbreviated version of the co-hosting.
Consolidated.
I like consolidated. That's good, David. I've got my good friend David Dopko over here and Jonathan Portman down here, producing and hosting down below. And we are here because we're not at GFest, and we're the true cam hosts today.
They're out watching. I'll take it.
If you are watching today, thank you for being here. We definitely appreciate you hanging out with us. We do have 23 people hanging out right now.
Right.
We'll come back in a bit. Yeah, and we'll do our chat room check-in. This is, of course, the hashtag not a GFest crew. And but we sort of have a check-in with GFest later on. Let me explain how this episode's going to go. We've abandoned the news segment for this episode, and we're going to basically do show and tell, standard stuff, chat room check-in, standard stuff. Then we're going to check in a sense, with Leslie and Christine and sort of John from GFest with some videos that they sent over the past couple of days. And then after our intermission, we come back and we celebrate Eiji Tsuburaya's birthday, which I think is like his 124th birthday was just last week or something like that. So we're basically, we're not going to do a deep dive into, actually the joke should have been, we're going to do a deep dive and cover every single thing that Eiji Tsuburaya did. It's going to be our longest episode ever. We're going to be here for 12 hours straight, but that's not what we're doing. We're taking our top three items, top three titles that Tsuburaya worked on, and basically showcasing those, showing off some cool photos, showing off some collectibles of those. And then Leslie, of course, provided us with some cool questions that we will hem and haw over as we discuss the life and legacy of Eiji Tsuburaya. And of course, don't forget that we will be giving away something amazing. David, why don't you show off the M1 Maquette figure that we'll be giving away at the end of the broadcast during our collector moment, which will be, of course, about GFest as well. So that's from our anonymous awesome donor, and I can't wait. I've got that in my collection. Can't really see it down below, but it's down there. I
It's a great
promise.
figure. It is a great figure. It's a must-have for M1 collectors. I gotta say, in any colorway.
In any colorway. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get cracking and start things off, of course, with our classic Show and Tell. Also, who cares about the 3-limit rule for this episode since it's just the 3 of us? So, as far as I'm concerned, the sky's the limit, David. Show us what came in to your collection over the past month.
Well, let's see. The sky's not going to be too much limited with me. It's going to be a little limited with me because I'm still sort of on my pulling back, one in, one out hiatus, whatever you want to call it. Being super picky about what I purchase these days, but I do have some cool stuff. So let's start off with my good friend from X Plus, G Akamoto, continues to send me some really awesome X Plus kits, starting with this one. Whoops, upside down. A Gamera 2 kit. How cool. I didn't even know
very
this
nice.
So this is one that I didn't even see coming, and I got the box from Japan. I'm like, oh, that G's up to it again. And I really have to take a day or to organize these and put them in an order, and I have to start building them. But, you know, another really cool kit. I haven't even opened it yet. And he knows that I love Ray Harryhausen and stop motion animation. So he sent me this one too. The Rhedosaurus model kit.
Oh, that is awesome.
Isn't that cool? Including the lighthouse that he destroys. So I really, really love that they made this kit. It's long overdue. If they would have had this when I was a kid, I would have lost my mind. But again, many thanks to G and X Plus. He's a good friend. He's a good friend of the show. And I hope next time I'm in Japan that we definitely get to hang out and I can thank him in person for all these.
You mean in November, right? When you come in November?
Oh boy,
I'm going to be relentless. We got 3 months.
I'm not going to jinx it. Relentless. Even on the radar. So we're just going to keep that on the back burner for now. But all right, let's see. Now, my buddy Kyle actually sent me something too that I actually featured on one of our show and tells. It's the Ultraman Gashapon set. Nice. I haven't opened them up yet, but basically what it is, it's got like the spider shot. It's got a folded up uniform. I can't even remember what else. Oh, it has a Science Patrol helmet. It's got SSSP helmet. Just all kinds of cool little trinkets and memorabilia from the Science Patrol, and I love it.
Here, let me help you out there.
Yeah, help me out there. I can't even remember what's in it.
Awesome. It would be this one here.
Let's see. You got it. The magic. That's it. That's one there. Yes. Even has Noranga's horn. Wow, that's super cool. And the beta capsule. How can I forget the beta capsule? So, Kyle, thank you so much for picking that up for me in Japan, and thank you, Jonathan, for the shipment of it last week. You're much appreciated. Both of my pals and Kyle, I owe you a beer or two when we get to Japan in
perfect
whenever I get there.
Time for kanpai.
All right, let's see. Okay, now I should probably slow down a little bit because I only have 2 more things, but the last one is the pièce de résistance. Okay, so I've wanted this figure for a long time, and I actually forgot that I had well, there's a story to it. I was going to pick it up at GFest this year from Jay Key at Toku Toy Town, but I emailed him and said I'm not going to GFest this year, so he sent it to me. It is the Yamamark Chandlar, a glow in the dark.
Cool.
Isn't that awesome?
That is very rad.
And this colorway was so special to me. He held it for like, I don't know, 6 months. He's like, don't worry, bro. I got you. I'll bring it to GFest. And I'm like, I'm not going to GFest. So he's such a sweet guy. I got a package the other day, and it was this Chandler. I haven't even paid for it yet. So he's just, I mean,
class act.
I don't totally a class act. He's a great friend of the show. He's given us things to donate. And I've seen images, I'm sure you guys have too, of his setup this year with Ryan Wilhelm. It's next level awesome. Like, he really knows how to set up a booth and to draw people in there. So I'm sure he's busy at work right now in that dealer's room. And Yamamark figures are my new favorites. And I know if Richard Cox is watching, I know he's a huge fan of Yamamark too. But I love this scale. and I think it's a great scale to fit into the collection. And they're, you know, pretty affordable too. They're not super expensive either.
Yeah, I love that about Yamamark.
They're actually less money than a U.S. toy. U.S. toys are actually smaller and they're more money. But I mean, and the detail is just great. He's got his little beard on there, if you can even see. And as we know, Chandler is a Tsuburaya production, a monster from Tsuburaya production, and this monster was they used the Pagila suit to make this monster in Ultraman, and Pagila was an Ultra Q. So that's that one. Thank you again, Jay and Toku Toy Town and the fine people there. Now this last piece is really something that made me not so sad that I'm not at GFest, because I'm just like you two. I'm sure we're experiencing some levels of FOMO when we're seeing all these photos. And you know, it's not even the stuff that's there, the stuff we can get. It's the people. Like, oh my God, there's this guy, there's this guy, there's this guy. That's what's kind of bumming me out a little bit. But my good friend and a good friend of the show, Alex Sawyer, picked this figure up a while ago. He won.
Oh, nice.
I lost. I think I bid on 3 different colorways of this figure, but the one that I just got was the one I wanted the most. And I told Alex, I said, if you ever get tired of it and you're willing to part with it, I'm your man. And sure enough, perfect timing, he decided to sell me the Lestang Godzilla, Nicholas Lestang.
Nice.
Now this guy, and I think a lot of people are confused why I like this figure so much and why it means so much to me. I think it looks like a little storyboard. It's kind of got that vibe to it, like the Maquette / storyboard, and it's very, very detailed for a Sofubi figure. And he's even got little footprints,
That's awesome.
Kind of like the Popies did that kind of vibe there too.
Yeah.
And this was the colorway that I wanted, especially not only because it's an awesome color, because there's a little extra, comes with a little Maneki Neko style Godzilla, and I just absolutely love this. And again, I thank him so much. It's very kind of him to pass it on to me, because he knew how much I wanted it over the years, and that I've missed every single lottery. You know, my lottery luck is not good, as is my Gashapon luck is not that great either. But maybe at some point things will change. But thank you, Alex. Thank you. I'm so happy to have this. I'm stoked, and I hope you're having a wonderful time at GFest right now. And I think with that, you guys, that's it for me. Oh, look at the
well, we've got somebody
timing.
else has hopped onto the stream here.
Good
what is going on, Leslie Chambers?
What's going on? Can y'all hear me real well?
We can hear you real well. Yeah.
Yeah, man. How's it going?
What's up, dude?
Doing good, because you know I'm dedicated, unlike the other two jerks there. But I'm in the lobby right now. We're just chilling out because I'm about to grab my model kits and take them upstairs so we can pack them up, because we're leaving out first thing in the morning, like around 3 o'clock or 4. I mean, we're going to be up before Jesus, honestly. But we're just sitting here in the lobby, and there's Sandra and the baby.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. Sandra, you look fabulous, by the way. I just have to tell you that.
Hey, David said you look fabulous and quintessential.
Yes, I actually didn't say that, but that's okay.
But you know what? It kind of fits. But yeah, I just want to give you a little small mini GFest report like I normally do. I ain't going to take too much of your time. GFest, again, was awesome. To be honest, it does feel crowded, but not as super duper packed. And they made a couple changes. Like, they moved the dealer's room. Remember, the dealer's room was like in the big ballroom, like down the way. Now they moved it like up near in another ballroom that's like close to the elevator, which seemed more packed in and not really spacious enough. So didn't really particularly care for that. The models room, they kind of changed it up a little bit, where they kind of peppered out everybody's works throughout the room, versus having like one guy's particular work like in one specific section. They would have particular care for that, but overall the experience has been really, really good. I shot some vlogs. Hopefully y'all can use it for the show. I don't know where John and Christine are. I know I've seen them. I seen Christine yesterday. Haven't seen today. Saw John both today and yesterday. So I don't know where they are, but they're around here somewhere. Hopefully, one of them's getting arrested. But aside
Why
from
would
that,
you want John to get arrested?
oh, that's not the one I'm talking about. You know,
I know.
But you know what?
I know what you're talking about.
So I've been rocking the Kamagon shirt. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That looks great on you too. That's a great red's a good color for you.
So collect the monster in full effect. And
there goes Jessica.
There goes Jessica right there. Hold on, let me get the camera right.
Aw.
You on cam?
Hi, Jessica.
Hey.
Amazing.
They can't hear you, so but they're saying if you look good, you look real good, you know, and thank you for everything that you do. You know, it's David, Kyle, and Jonathan. You know the problem children of our show.
Holding it down.
Yeah,
we miss you too. We miss you too, Jess.
Yeah. Yeah, but everybody's doing great. Again, hopefully y'all can make it out this year. I know the Ultraman panel got Kyle wanting to look for flights now because he's saying he want to come back over here real soon.
It's true.
Yeah. So, but other than that, it's been great. Like I said, I've been rocking the Kamagon shirt because, like I said, even though that unfortunately y'all couldn't make it here, people have been coming up to me and like, "Oh, I love this shirt! Like, I love collecting all monsters." So that hasn't changed. And
you're a great ambassador. You're a great ambassador for the show.
Thank you. And Octil said he's looking forward to doing more work with us, involving with Kamagon. He floated the idea of patches, doing more work, whatever. But Collect All Monsters was well represented here at GFest, and you all were missed. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And you know what? We appreciate you, man. You always take time to check in with us and to give your report. And again, it's much appreciated. And thank you for your ambassadorship.
You know what? You don't have to thank me because, again, I love what we do. I love this show. Maybe sometimes to a fault. I know sometimes I might take things too seriously, but when Kyle chose me for this project, all of us, he didn't have to do that, but he did.
Yep.
And so I take this very, very seriously. I take our brand, I take our effort, I take the work we put in to make the show what it is today. All the viewers that are watching, you know what I'm saying? Even though you can make it to G-Fest, that's why it's so important to me and Christine and John to bring the G-Fest experience to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we're a one big happy family. Most of the time. But,
most of the time.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Well said.
Like I said in my post earlier with Octil, we ride together, we die together, Cam for life.
That's right.
Nice. Excellent.
Right. So I'm going to get up out of here. So y'all have a great show.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Leslie.
Next month, my show and tell is going to put people to shame. I'm just saying. You ain't seen nothing yet. Oh, yeah. No, but seriously, I love y'all. I really do.
We love you too, Leslie. Thanks again for all you do.
No problem. Y'all have a great show.
Safe travels. Right? Safe travels, okay?
Thank you. Y'all take care.
Bye. All right, see you, buddy.
Bye.
Oh, man.
That was nice. That was nice.
That was lovely. Lovely.
Was
always, great. I love it when Leslie can check in, even if he's a little bit early. Like, it's all good. David, did you finish up your show intel?
I did.
You did? Okay.
Timing was actually perfect. I was about to pass it over to Jonathan, and Leslie.
Well, let's do that now.
Leslie's face on there, so let's go, Jonathan.
Oh, well, hello, guys. It's lovely to be here again. And, we are missing G-Fest, and I am having some severe FOMO. I was definitely having some on Thursday because I know the last time I went, I was helping J.K. and Ryan Wilhelm set up Tokyo Toy Town's table, and that was just a really fun day. And then we had drinks afterwards at the bar. It was just a really fun time seeing everybody. But, hey, we're here. We're doing it. So I can't ask for anything better to be with you guys. So here we go. I'm going to go a little chronologically. There was actually this one is going to be first because I don't think I put this one on Show and Tell last month. And this is a kind of a little funny gift that David gave me because he happened to pull like 7 of these.
Oh, no. Is this what I think it is?
Little alien Nars, which is,
nice.
funny because this is a Tsuburaya episode. And one of the topics is going to be Ultra 7. So get a little alien Nars here. David, thank you for getting the one of 7 that you got. I really
I don't know
appreciate
what
it.
happened to the rest of them. I think I gave those away too. But
Or threw them in
yeah,
the trash
just
or
as I said
something.
before, my Gashapon karma is not good. So I wanted one figure, and I got like 6 or 7 of those freaking Narcissus. And I think there's a couple more in the box if anybody else wants one.
What was
Hit
the
me up.
series that's from?
It was the series where there was a Dada kind of reclined, and then there was a
Okay.
Zeton kind of in a Zen position with his legs crossed. Which
Was
I
it like the sauna set?
Yeah, I think so. And
Okay.
I ended up getting the Zeton after all these other ones. But Keith's like, I'm not giving you any more coins for this because we didn't have any cash. And this was in Seattle because Maya got this whole row of Gashpons. So anyway, I'm glad you like it, Jonathan.
Well, I'm just to say in the future, just happy pull for you because I have incredibly crazy good luck with pulling what I want.
Would have done it.
But so the next thing on the menu here, this I got at Monster Patrol Toys in Little Tokyo. They were having an event. It was the 10-year anniversary of the artist Wonder Goblin, and he was there showing off his stuff. And I met him for the first time. Great guy, incredible art and figures and creations. We did a little video on our Instagram, on the Collect All Monsters Instagram page. If you want to check that out, I believe I also posted it in Collect All Monsters. But maybe I'll repost it again after this show. And I got myself one of his creations, little finger puppet goblin. And what's cool about this thing, not only is it a finger puppet, and he's a little tiny guy, he can fit anywhere on the shelf, which I love, and I love the colors.
It's great
Absolutely
size.
love the colors. It comes in a little bag.
Oh, cool.
You can hang.
A little mini Ide bag.
Awesome.
That's cute.
So you know what?
Ida?
David, you know this. When I came to visit you, what did I have clipped on my bag? My man purse.
That little critter, and Keith loved it.
Little critter.
Show them the glass eye. It's got a glass eye, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, he said that he has an infatuation with doll eyes.
Oh, doll eye.
A lot of his creations, a lot of his creations implore the doll eye aesthetic.
Nice.
So they all kind of a part of one family. We kind of hit it off because he's an '84 kid just like me, and he also grew up loving the Muppets and Fraggle Rock and all those creations, which also inspired these creations as well. So, he's a great guy, great event. Monster Patrol Toys in Little Tokyo always does it right.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next item I have here is actually 2 items are from David himself.
Oh my goodness!
I came to visit David a couple weekends ago in Palm Desert. David and Keith, gracious hosts as always, but the weather, my God, it was so hot that we decided to just stay in. We couldn't really go out and do anything. We were supposed to go to Palm Springs for one day and go to the Shag store because I wanted to just go and look around, but it was too hot. So alas, we stayed inside, which wasn't a bad thing. And David, upon getting there, I think the last episode I showed the P1 off. You want that? I know I might reach out to him and see what he can do. He might have some extras. I don't know. But the one thing that I showed off last time was the P1 that I got at Anime Jungle.
And we told that story.
We told that story. But it means something because David, the first thing he did when we went to his collection room, at like the first hour that I got there, he said, just to show you that there are no hard feelings, here is the multi-purpose tank in Sofubi form. And I believe this is a accessory, right?
Yeah, it came with the Angulus.
Yeah.
Parababy Angulus, yeah, Parababy Angulus. So now, needs to say, I've been trying to get more vehicles in my collection, and the multi-purpose tank has always been one of my favorite vehicles. So the fact that you gave me this truly means a lot. I absolutely love it, David. So thank you for that. And
of course.
Not because he didn't like it, but because simply there's no room for it in his place. He gifted me this beautiful.
Oh wow.
Beautiful piece by Bob Eggleton, the Shinkichi board, storyboard Godzilla, which I now say, if I can't own a storyboard figure, the least I can have is an amazing piece of the storyboard, courtesy of Bob Eggleton. Thank you for this amazing piece, David. I will cherish it forever.
Well,
Awesome.
Jonathan, that was my real motivation for it, because I went through a bunch of boxes, and that was in one of the boxes. I forgot that I even had it. and I know you really, really, really want desperately one of those storyboard figures, which hopefully will happen in the future sometime. I'm never going to say never, but I figured this will be a nice, and it's not even a consolation, a nice like sort of like placeholder for your storyboard when it comes in. So at least you have it in some form. And, you know, if I can't display it properly, then I think it's only fair for someone who can display it properly. So I'm glad you like it. And
absolutely.
And we weren't in the house all the time. We were in the house or in the pool. Those are the two things we were.
True. In the house or in the pool. In the pool when the sun went down over the pool. So it was great.
Correct.
It was perfect. And we watched Daimajin, the third Daimajin. I think it's Wrath of Daimajin, right?
Wrath of Daimajin, yeah.
I had never seen it.
My favorite of the three.
Yeah.
Well, it might be. I hadn't seen it in a long time, so it was good, and I really do like it. It's great.
It's a phenomenal film. It's like to me, it's like amazing. The kids aren't the best actors, obviously, but it's the story. Like it's such a plucky story compared to the other two, which are a little more serious, a little more dour, I'd say.
Definitely, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
For sure.
The kids are much better than the ones in the Gamera series, though. I got to say that.
For sure.
I got to say that.
Sugibo!
Yeah.
Right?
Sugibo!
Oh my God.
Tibby!
Yeah, at one point you're kind of hoping Daimajin takes the steak and kind of, no, never mind. Anyway, so the last item on the docket, this one means a lot. I know, Takarada does not approve.
No, he doesn't.
He hates that. But he didn't work for Dai, so it's cool. Last thing on the docket here is something that means a lot to me because this came out a couple years ago. It was a lottery piece at Wonderfest, and they had an online lottery for it as well. I didn't know about it. Clearly, it wasn't. Unless you're like really on Bandai Premium a lot or those sites, like you probably won't see it. So I think Leslie showed it off. He was like, "Hey, when did this come out?" And I was like, "What is this?" And then Kyle informed me about what it was. And sure enough, I didn't get it.
Yeah,
exactly. I did, and I was looking for them all over the place, and they were a little more than I wanted to pay. But since Kyle's in Japan, Kyle was looking out for me, and he found one, and he shipped it to me. It is the Toho Maniacs Mysterian Combatant.
Mysterian. Oh, right. I don't have those yet. I don't have a Mysterian. I like the blue one. I do like the blue.
The blue one, and coincidentally, the blue one has always been my favorite. I am a sucker for blue. I love the color blue. So this, this one doesn't have a cape.
He's capeless.
So he's capeless, but I like that. I kind of dig that. It's like a foot soldier sort of deal. So I really like that, and I love his look. It's the same sculpt as the yellow one, pretty much.
But isn't one of them's hands extended? Does one of them have the extended?
Yes, the one has the hand extended. It's the Supreme Commander, the red one, the red orange one.
Okay.
So yeah, and I think it's the intermediate is the yellow one, and this is the combatant. The combatant was missing in my collection. I wanted to complete the trifecta, and I did. Thank you, Kyle, for this.
Awesome. That's great.
I'll never forget it. I will never forget it. But yeah, that's pretty much my show and tell. So without further ado, gonna slip it over.
I know we got some good stuff coming
now.
Ocean. I'm waiting for our
guy in Japan.
Yes, for sure. I'm super excited because, like I said, there's no need for it to be just 3.
Right.
Also, can you feel the love that's going on right now? I sent stuff to David. I sent stuff to Jonathan. Yep. Jonathan sent stuff to David. Yep. David sent stuff to Jonathan. It's
people helping people.
It's people helping people. So I'm actually going to start off with what David sent to me. Ignore what you're seeing there in the corner. This is because I couldn't go to Monster Palooza. He hooked me up with this Mecha Tanto from Last Bastion. That's what it is on Instagram. These guys are awesome. I love Gamera, but I also love Giron as Kaiju. And when they put out a 3D rendering of what this would look like, I was like, I have to have that. And I kept commenting on all their posts. I was like, when is this coming out? I need to make sure to get one of these because you guys are in America and I'm in Japan now. And they were like, don't worry, we got you covered. And then David was kind enough to pick that up for me at Monster Palooza, and I absolutely adore him. He is the cutest little steak knife. I have some very dangerous items this time around. This is one of them.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Speaking of hookups, this came from our good friend Ryan Wilhelm and through David. This is this gorgeous Tokyo Tower. This is so I think this is a Marusan, but I can't remember. There's no information on the bottom, so I think it's Marusan. This is not glow in the dark, but it is UV reactive like crazy. It glows like wild underneath my black light up there. So thank you very much, Ryan. Thank you again, David, for that.
Of course, anytime.
Let's go ahead and continue with some hookups. And I meant to look up the name of this figure before the episode, so apologies to Jeremy. The Tokyo Toy Bastard, or Tokyo Toy Bonsai, I think he's now known on YouTube. This is his Sofubi figure that he put out. It looks like a Super Saiyan mixed with a Microman, or I can't remember what are they called here in Japan?
Micronauts? One of those
Micronauts, thank you, not Microman. Yeah, Micronauts. And I love the little foil inside. He gave me this because we went and hooked up. I sold him some figures. He's been in Japan for a long time. I think with the exception of maybe going back to America for like a year or something like that. He's been here for, I want to say, close to 20 years or something like that. It's a crazy long time. Jeremy is great. He got sick last year, so I was kind of like, dude, let me know when you're better and let's hook up, let's get together. And it just took us for ages. It took us forever to get together. So he finally hooked up with me and hooked me up with this as well, and I think it's awesome. So good job, Jeremy. If you want one of these, go check out Tokyo Toy Bastard on YouTube. He's got a Patreon for people who like his stuff, and he does special. He actually goes, he lives close to Nakano, so he goes to Nakano Broadway all the time to pick up like weird stuff, and he does all these cool sales through his Patreon. So make sure to check that out. Shout out to Jeremy, and thank you, sir. Also in the hookup region, our good friend who's not here with us today. Oh, thanks, my jeans beard. Christine got an extra fun, I think that's what it's called, from Super 7 of the GMK variety. Ooh, and sent me this.
Oh, super cute.
Wow.
And I love it.
Those are fun.
It's awesome. Let's see. Yeah, there's even more.
Let's do it.
Bring it on. There's more.
Okay.
Someone's got to be John Ruffin today.
This is why you wanted the No 3 route. The
Roxy's coming to join me for a minute.
Roxy.
What up?
Hi, Roxy.
Yeah,
Roxy?
What a good
we're going
girl.
now. Thank you. Okay, so I went and had lunch with Kaminaga. Don't step on that, please. Hi, that's Roxy.
Hi, Roxy.
Eiji Kaminaga from Marusan, the president of Marusan. And he and I had a real great time just hanging out, shooting the breeze. And I will answer that question in a second, Ray2D2. What was really great about it is like I had this interview with Kaminaga like several years ago, sort of like right when Collect All Monsters started. We did the Super Saturday Sofubi show with Lolo and Louis, and Jonathan helped out, and I had this Marusan interview where I did like pop-up information, so I called it the pop-up interview, and he and I had a great time chatting back then, but we basically talked about the history of Marusan, the history of Sofubi, and now he is helming this sort of like new age of Marusan toys and how they're doing. If you guys have noticed, he's been doing so much cool stuff outside of Japan too, like doing a whole bunch of shows and promoting his the Marumon collection stuff as well. So I sat down with him and we were just in his office and he was answering like every question I had. And, I'm like crazy for asking questions. And after a while I was like, you know what we should do? We should just do another interview. We should do like a version 2 interview. So when he gets back to Japan after all of his travels, we're going to sit down and have like another in-depth interview because his English is phenomenal as
Very
well.
good. It is.
And yeah. So, but during lunch, actually, he was like asking me how my Japanese was going. And I was like telling him, it's going okay. I'm not fluent, but what I don't know is how to read. And he was like, well, here, you can practice reading with this. Upside down, classy. This is the Marumon book that he released. And so
Fantastic.
I have no idea what this is about. But thank you to Kaminaga-san for hooking me up with this. He said I could practice my Japanese, and that's hilarious because that's like the thing I'm
what a great way to
worst
do
at.
that. It's a great gift to
I know, right?
Very
It's
great.
awesome. Okay, tangentially connected to Maru-san is I went to go visit. Part of me doesn't even want to show this off. Last episode, for one, I got a red Marmot Monster Heaven Gigan, just completely unpainted. And I'm not an unpainted figure guy, so I had another opportunity to go see Goto-san. And this is what that figure looks like now.
Oh, wow.
So I am a lucky
Goto-san piece.
Lucky SOB, yes. And so this is now in the center of the Gigan collection. And
that's fantastic.
Yeah, not to brag about it, but man, he's a lot of fun too. And I was hanging out with my friend Angie and Goto, and Angie's Japanese, and I just basically got to sort of sit there and hear them talk back and forth and yeah, I need more immersion for my Japanese level.
Well, congratulations. That's an excellent addition to your collection. It's your favorite monster done by a master, like an icon in the Sofubi world. And
yeah, absolutely. I got my top 2 sculpts painted by Goto.
You got a GMK and you got a Gigan.
Yeah.
I mean that, nice guys sometimes don't finish last, so that's good. I'm happy to hear that.
Well, thank you.
It's true, and you deserve it. You do a lot for the community, and you genuinely, like, I dare say, both of us here and our whole crew, we are fascinated by these people. They're important to us. They make something that makes us happy. And I think the more we can show our appreciation and showcase what they do, the better. And that's one of the reasons we do the show. And again, I'm so happy. I didn't even know that happened. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I kept it. I didn't broadcast it. It was also I got one for Octil as well. Not a Gigan, but he had like an unpainted figure, so he's gonna have something to show off too.
Fantastic.
Now those are the sharing the love ones. I still have a few more items here.
Go for it. Do it.
If you don't mind.
Not at all.
Back when Wonderfest happened in February, this was released from Passion Tank, and I don't have any Passion Tank figures, or I hadn't had a Passion Tank figure. I also really loved the colorway, but they sold out at Wonder Festival, and I know that some makers at Wonder Festival and other shows kind of hate it when their stuff gets purchased and then resold on like the third party markets, like Yahoo Japan and stuff like that. And Passion Tank is one of those guys, but I hate it when they repost it for sale and it's like way more expensive than it was at the actual show. This was pretty much the exact same price. I think basically $15 more than it cost actually at Wonder Festival.
Which is not outlandish.
This is the Passion Tank Shin Godzilla, painted by Shirahama Toys.
Wow. Wow.
And this thing is just chef's kiss gorgeousness. The metallic blue, the gold. It's like wonderful. Absolutely love this. Passion Tank, honestly, is one of those companies that I haven't really picked up anything from, because in my opinion, they sort of they border on too realistic for my liking in terms of Sofubi stuff. That because David and Jonathan, you know this, we talked about this at GFest 2 years ago. The 64, we were talking about how Leslie could potentially add that to his collection if it was painted realistically, because it looks almost like an X Plus figure. And to me, that's like too far into the realism, but this thing just pops. It pops so much.
Those colors are so great together.
They are.
I mean, he put color opposites and your eye just kind of really, it's tantalizing to the eye. And I only have one Passion Tank, but I do want at some point a Passion Tank Shin, because I think that sculpt is, again.
I actually think that this colorway would look amazing on the 64 as well. So
absolutely.
If he ever does that, I'm probably going to end up getting that too. Okay, I now only have 2 more items to show off, thankfully.
Bring it on.
Oh, we talked briefly about Premium Bandai.
Yes, we did.
And I'm not a fan of Premium Bandai's exclusivity. Like the fact that you can't even really look at their website from America, that kind of always bums me out. But when I was in November, when I was in Ginza at Godzilla's birthday, I saw 2 items up for, it was just on display. The first one I showed off on Leslie's stream, where he got the Desu Goji, but this is the plush oxygen destroyer.
Oh,
yeah,
you did. Oh,
yeah.
What a fun thing that is.
That's great.
Whoa. Great. Yeah, I'm not going to drop it. I love this thing. It's awesome. It is a 1-to-1 scale, right? So it feels just like the original when I held the original. Except the 50 times lighter.
It's not as dangerous. Yeah.
Not as dangerous. Anyway, yeah, this thing is awesome. It's gonna live above my window with some other plushies. Actually, here, I wanted to do this before I showed off the sleeping Godzilla. Hang on.
That should be the pillow in your guest room, Kyle, when we come visit.
We'll see about it. Here, let's do this. No, Godzilla, don't fall asleep on the oxygen destroyer.
Oh,
that is actually perfect.
You got to take a photo of that. That's
100%.
Yeah, I definitely need to send Logan a picture of this.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so that was the first item from Premium Bandai, and then to assuage my FOMO yesterday, this showed up. This is something I also saw at Godzilla's birthday, and this is the newest Frog Tree Burning Godzilla. David, I think.
Wow.
I think you're gonna want to steal this from my collection when you visit in November.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
That is incredible.
Wow.
You know the natural color, the burning color for the one that came out. I'm so sick to my stomach that I didn't pull the trigger on it. I found it on eBay, and I should have.
It's okay. So let me help you not be so sick. It's actually, first up, it's almost impossible to get these things. They went up for sale on, I'm going to say like March 10th or something like that. Whatever day it was, they went up for sale, and within a minute, all of them had sold out.
Damn.
So I set an alarm, classic Japan releases. I set an alarm for this thing. I like the green one better than the classic. I'm a little tired of the classic look. Plus, that whole thing with, figures popping off the shelf. This thing pops. And actually, he's so big that at this moment he's living on the floor with my Megaton down there. But and yeah, Frank, yeah, crazy how fast it went. These things, I mean, I actually have not. This was my first time taking part in a purchase in Japan that was like so ravenously attended, I guess you could say, just online. So yeah, anyway, so that's
beautiful.
This one and the black and red one, they sold out pretty much instantly. Like I could not even get the black and red one in my cart because it was already gone.
I saw a black and white on eBay for like $500, and I did not. I should have pulled the trigger.
So here's the thing about that. If it was on eBay, did they really get it?
No, this was, I guess
because they just showed up yesterday. And that's me being here in Japan. I would just. I'm not saying that the person on eBay was like a liar. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just basically saying like
it was from Japan.
For someone to have gotten this and be able to put it on eBay, that's just like I guess it's sort of like a
pre-order sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it can't be a pre-order. I mean, they would have had to be like, okay, I'm getting this. Yeah. And like that would be the only one that they had. Right, and they're immediately putting that on eBay. And sure, I'm not saying it didn't. Yeah. They didn't get it. It's stuff like that. But like, just to me, that's like sketch.
That's total sketch to me.
How did you get this when I'm here in Japan? Like literally at whatever it was, 1 p.m. I'm on the website getting it. Boom, 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 and like unless it's a bot. See, like other people saying sound sketchy. So
it does sound sketchy.
They did have a second release of this a week later, and for a friend of ours, I did pick up the black and red one as well, so that should be coming in later this month. But still, nice.
If you don't mind me asking, Kyle,
it was still the same thing.
What was the price point of that figure?
40,000 yen. So
really? That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I was thinking a lot more than that.
Yeah. So that is that's only $270.
Wow.
So I mean, 40,000 yen is not cheap to me because I'm here in Japan. But it's like definitely.
And it will be on the aftermarket
I'm sure. Yeah. Actually, I haven't started looking at these on the internet because I'm just still so enamored with it.
Well, maybe, Kyle, since they're so popular and they went so damn fast, maybe they'll consider doing other colorways that we.
I hope so. I mean, basically, that's what Frog Tree. So this is a Frog Tree design. If I didn't say that before, so Frog Tree stuff. When Frog Tree's been around for a little while, as I talked about in one of our recent episodes, but basically that Burning Godzilla with the wisps, the smaller version, that was originally for sale 2 Wonder Festivals ago, and they had at least two colorways of it, and then last Wonder Festival they had 2 or 3 colorways of it, not to mention an in-between phase. So I do think it's very possible that they might come out with more of these.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Also, because these are released by Plex and Premium Bandai, I actually expected them to have way more available.
Right.
So I was so shocked that they sold out so quickly. But hey, that's how they did it. And
I'm glad you got one.
I'm just glad I got one. Yeah. So that's gonna do it for my Showa and Tell. Thank you for hanging out. I did see a question from Ray2D2 about where does the ladder lead? That the ladder leads to Sofubi Heaven, guys.
There you go.
No. I have a loft. Let me just like crash into reality here with the actual truth. I have a loft in my office room here, and that loft is where we keep our stuff. Basically, we keep our when we moved here, we have mystery solved for sure. When we moved here, we brought like 5 of the largest suitcases that we could find, and those had all of our clothes and stuff in it. So the suitcases are up there. The doors to my closet, when I took the doors off this closet, those are up there. Dog crates, that we shipped
it.
them here with are unassembled and up there. So really interesting stuff up there.
You know who I hope's not up there? Kayako.
Oh, that's.
I hope she's not up there.
Yes.
'Cause she lives in.
I got a story for later. I'll get a story for you about that. But let's go ahead and. Oh wait, Nathaniel Plummer said a black skin orange smoke one would be so cool. It's not orange, but it is red. That is what the standard one looks like. And it looks they do look incredible.
With
And
the
I
smoke
mean,
especially,
I didn't talk
Smoke
about
effects
this. Last
great.
thing I'll say real quick before I move on, but
big.
what this is, it's very big.
Chunky. Damn.
The subtitle of this is the ukiyo-e, which is the floating world. It's ukiyo-e is the woodblock print and paintings from like the Edo period, where this is like the style of like the smoke and stuff looks like this. So that's why it's got that
Japanese.
subtitle.
It's very Japanese, and that's
And
why I love
I
it so much.
am a weeb, so I love it.
Yes.
So Kyle and David.
Yes, sir.
I know we said we weren't really going to do a news segment, but I just saw something that I think needs to be announced that I saw literally from August a little bit ago while you were doing your thing.
Let's do it.
This was announced at the Ultraman panel at GFest. Coming out for the 60th anniversary next year, we have 4K releases coming to America from Mill Creek of Ultraman, Ultra 7, Ultraman Arc the movie. The Ultraman 66 release is going to have the United Artists Television English dub included, and Ultraman Towards the Future, as well as Ultraman the Ultra Hero.
All right.
That's
okay.
awesome.
So
wow,
the thing that gets me, it's awesome on every level, but for me to have a decently synced English Titra, old English dubbing with that crisp picture. That's a must. That's an easy purchase for me. Like 1,000%.
Absolutely incredible. I just can't even believe that I'm
that's
seeing
exciting.
this.
Thanks, August.
September. They're going to be released next year. It's like well, actually, it says here Ultraman 4K Discovery Blu-ray from Mill Creek, November 12th of this year. It features footage from the 4K transfer of Ultraman, English dubbed, and then
fantastic.
Next year, or actually, Ultraman Arc and Ultraman Arc the movie. October of this year, Ultra 7 in September of next year, Ultraman Towards the Future March of next year.
That's your favorite.
And then Ultraman the Ultimate Hero Blu-ray to be announced. So that's
exciting. That's really big news.
I have no words. It's crazy.
There's certain episodes of this original show that are very impactful to me when I watched them as a kid. One of them being the Dada episode. Everybody knows I love that episode. The way they chose a very feminine voice to go with the Dadas, and it makes it extra creepy. When you hear sort of that, like it's just, if you've not seen it, check it out or buy this when you get it. It's just great, and I'm very excited about that. That's an easy purchase. Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Damn.
4K, man. Which is actually kind of incredible because they shot that in 16 millimeter.
Every zipper, every string, but that's fine. I'm good with
every alien from 7 that David absolutely loves can see it in 4K.
You know what? Hey, be fair now. I said I have to revisit that, maybe watch them again, because
I should have brought it with me. We could have watched some episodes. What's wrong with me?
Well, I have all
perfect opportunity.
I actually have it. I just didn't.
Well, now you can get it again.
Yeah, get it again.
I'm gonna get it again. I know that.
That's worthy of news, Jonathan. Thanks for that.
Well, thank you. August.
Crazy.
My goodness.
All right. Well, there you go. There's our news. Now, I think what we'll do real quick is let's do a chat room check-in.
Let's do it.
I'll just do this. You don't need to worry about it, Jonathan.
Hello
to Michael Sontag, Mark Rodriguez, Greg Coggin, Nathaniel Plummer, Ray 2D2, Keith Daniels, Josh Moroshak, Tim Bartos, Fanciest of Cats, Jim Galla, Tim Outen, also. Let's see, who else do we have? The Duraboon. Is that Japanese? I don't know. Johnny Cock, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Johnny?
Jordan Leitner also
Jordan.
hanging out. Greg Coggin, I saw you chatting in. Myjean's Beard, we saw you too. Butchzilla, Ray2D2, if I didn't already say your name, I know you had that question earlier. Is that... Yeah,
That's it,
let's see.
33.
Oh, Kaiju Battle. What's up, Mike Farah?
What's up, Mike Farah?
Let's
Space
see.
Beast. I don't know who Space Beast is. We got Space Beast in there.
Oh, yeah?
Space Beast.
Space
Yes.
Beast.
Oh,
Space
Sergio
Beast.
Trejo, who often checks in
From Mexico.
from
right?
Mexico, watching on
Yes.
Facebook. He says, at GFest, can you also find custom figures and accessories? Well, I don't know about the accessories. What I'm assuming you're talking about is like accessories for like SH Monster Arts figures or pre-existing figures. So I cannot answer that. But in terms of custom figures, there definitely are people that make their own stuff and put it out at GFest, like our good friend Alex Merdich, who is at GFest right now selling stuff. Yeah, so that hopefully answers your question. But you know, the dealers grow and change every year, so I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, we're not there. So we're going to show off some video from Christine and Leslie in just a minute. Also, Frank, we said hi to you earlier. What's up? Ohio gozaimasu, my friend. Frank and I think, are going to go see, putting the pressure on him right now, going to go see Godzilla vs. Megalon next week in just a couple of days. And Ginza.
Oh, nice.
Let's see who else missed. Oh, there's Space Beast. What's up, buddy?
Space Beast, what's up?
And I think maybe that's it. I'm doing one final scroll going down here, and I see names I've already said. So I think we're probably good unless someone popped in at the very end. Oh, like Tanner Steffen.
What's up, Tanner?
Tanner.
Quick rest after the Ultraman panel.
Oh, he was there. Okay.
Oh my gosh, the Ultraman. Oh my gosh,
people
the
were going
Ultraman
nuts.
room.
Big FOMO for that one. Big FOMO for that one.
I
That's
can't
a
believe
tough
it.
one.
Even Lady Kyle was like, "That's amazing."
That's-
So, yeah,
Oh, well.
I really, actually, I haven't said it on the show yet, but it's official. Next year, I am definitely making sure I can go to GFest.
Well, if you then I will do the same.
We should all be there.
It should
We
be
should
a
all be there.
reunion. A reunion. of
In
sorts.
fact, if we're gonna do that, I will put together a panel again. So
I love it. I love it.
yeah.
So Kyle, if I may,
Thank you.
I've got one little tidbit of news. Not really news, kind of an announcement.
Nice.
This weekend is Keith and myself. It's our anniversaries, plural. Today, we
Ooh.
actually got married in 2013 in Seattle. And
Nice.
tomorrow, July 13th, is the day we met in 1991 after the Morrissey concert in New York City.
You guys
So
are
it's our
cute.
anniversary weekend. So thank you.
I know it happens every year when, like, around GFest time.
That's true. And one
That's
of the
really
good
special.
things about not being at GFest is I get to spend it with Keith, and we're going to do something tomorrow. I'm clearly today. I'm here, but tomorrow we will.
Same anniversary in the chat.
Oh, thank you, everybody. I just wanted, I could not, I had to mention that. So thank you for indulging me.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how are we gonna do this? We're not doing news, but we are doing some GFest coverage.
Yes. let's do it.
So let me go ahead and say, since we already saw Leslie, let's start things off with our co-host Christine, who is obviously at GFest. So what she did, Christine did shoot video from the dealer's room, and I really appreciate her doing that. But unfortunately, the internet connection at GFest is so bad that she couldn't upload it to Google Drive. So
Oh wow.
what I've done is I've screen recorded her stories from
way to
the
do
first day. So let's just go ahead and have Christine show us through some of the cool stuff at GFest while we FOMO off to the side.
Show us the money.
Show us the money. Yeah, show us where you're spending your money. And I should have edited this a little bit, but it is.
Here with Alex.
You guys can hear that okay?
Amazing costumes that he makes. Gotta get me a violante. Thanks, Alex. And if you're wondering where I got my awesome hat from, we're over here at Toy Matrix where he's got a ton. Look at these awesome hats.
Awesome.
So if you want to up your hat game, come on over to Toy Matrix. I'm actually going to grab this one too because look at this. So cool. Stop on over. They got shirts, hats, bags, toys. It's got it all going on over here, guys. You gotta stop by the Toki Toy Town booth because they always have
Toki Toy Town.
a killer selection of food. I picked something up from here. I'll show it off later.
It's a hell of a cameo.
I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
But look at this. And he's got like just this killer display.
His display is next level.
You can't go wrong. Look at some of this stuff over here. You
Got a big
guys,
table this year.
come get some Zafubi. And guess who I ran into? From the Monster.
See, he's there.
Represent. We got John Ruffin.
There he is. There's the crew.
Looking for some deals, some amazing toys. I mean, look what we got behind us.
Doesn't get any better.
Perfect.
I've never seen this many Godzilla toys and collectibles in one
I like
place
how
in my life.
John's
Oh my gosh,
craning
it is a great
to get into the
weekend already.
shot.
Day one of GFest.
He's so tall
Come
and
stop
Christine's so
in, say
short.
hi if you see us. Buy some awesome stuff.
94 you.
All right, John's got his first purchase.
Yay!
Kaiju cream! Yay!
Yes. There's an amazing team behind the table over here holding it down. Come on
buddy.
over and get your Kaiju cream. There's a couple
What's up,
blanks
Matt?
left. Look, we got pins, Lucky Kaiju spines, some patches. Definitely come check it out. And we have got Sun Guts here at GFest with this amazing setup.
I'm
Man, we got the
surprised.
sun good.
Nice.
Hey, go
Gotta get that
Franklin.
so
Franklin.
pretty. Look at these. I totally grabbed that Gorosaurus. He's adorable. And the Angie.
I like
you know
that.
what? I might as well just get some more because.
It's like a darker shade.
And there he is, Sun Guts himself.
There he is.
Thank you so much for coming. Definitely stop by if you're at GFest. Grab some goodies. Always good stuff here.
Take it Kamunga.
And we also have US toys. I absolutely love these things. They're so adorable.
Keith loves you.
Gotta come. They're over here by the M1 table. There he is. Hello.
I'm waving. They can't see me, but I
Great
don't care.
stuff. Look at these. Look at these.
The more you watch it, the more you're like, oh, this is pretty.
But yeah, US toys, I love these things. They're great. Somebody buying stuff already. Yes, I am. And then over here we got over here selling his goodies. Let's take a little look over here at the M1 table. They got their trikes. They have some new trikes out here. They do have the Alien Commander, but it's going to be back tomorrow. They sold out today, but they'll have more tomorrow if you want to stop by their table. Some beautiful gold colorways here. Some maquettes. We'll be restocking tomorrow, so come on over. Got a little Kaiju Pekingese here at GFest. What are you gonna buy? Joy got some swag in here in her little. Okay, I'll take it home. I'm with this super cute Godzilla fan, and look at these awesome toys he got from Toku Toy Town. My
Mechagodzilla is
favorite
awesome.
Biogoji and this America. Look at this guy, Mechagodzilla. Really good stuff. Good purchase. Are you having fun? Yeah, we love GFest, right? Yeah.
Yeah, looks. I mean, obviously they're having a blast there, and Christine actually continued to do this kind of coverage. There's quite a bit more actually. She continued her coverage even through the second day.
Into the lobby here. This dude right here. I mean, who's letting this guy in? No. See that?
In the
We
same
got
space.
Sandra, so beautiful, and then check this out. Marcellus Winter.
They let me in.
Yeah, they let him in. I gotta go down and check out the model room, see some of his amazing creations. So, check in with you guys later.
That's
Yeah,
That's
good stuff.
fantastic. Man, FOMO.
Doing those all day.
I know, right?
I know, it's getting more so
I mean, like
now.
we said before, like it is really about the people, like
We also got
who we're missing. who's at the show.
Godzilla at Godzilla Fest. What? Look at this amazing suit. Awesome.
I love it.
I will say that this year also, in addition to like the Ultraman stuff, the costumes are next freaking level, and I'm talking about like the fan costumes.
Mogera one.
You see that smog monster?
I saw this. I saw one of the Hedras, but I didn't see the Mogera.
The Mogera was
I'm
wild.
so in love with this thing.
Wow.
Oh, look at that. And there's 2 of them, so, I can have one, each side of my driveway. I'm down with it. Look at this.
Melt in
How
Sacramento.
big that thing is. Good lord.
That's beautiful.
Oh,
Wow. Nice work.
Fantastic.
Is that a kit? What is that?
I think
He's
that's a 3D print kit.
Gosh, some of the
That's
costumes
Matt.
are ridiculous.
Matt Dakota.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is gorgeous.
My buddy Matt.
Beautiful. Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
Look at those feet.
He did. It was basically like the Tease Facto
Hey, there you go.
Godzilla.
Yes, the one that
Yeah.
has build. Yep.
Yeah, Christine was all over the place, and I want to say how much I appreciate her stories. The FOMO aside, I really appreciate how much she was like putting out and tagging us and stuff in there. So there was so much to do. There is so much to do at GFest, and she was really like getting at it on that first day. If you're not following Christine, obviously she's Gojira Girl 13 on Instagram, and so next year when we go, we're gonna do a couple things. We're gonna do a meetup. We're gonna do an official Collect All Monsters meetup with a big photo. We're gonna do the panel, and hopefully we can get it like the last time we did a panel. A cool giveaway would be rad. But even if we can't do that, hopefully we could do like a big giant group photo with everybody.
I love it.
Yeah.
Look at her. She's gorgeous. Thank you.
Love it.
Check out this.
Dude, look at that.
awesome cosplay.
Great cosplay.
I love it.
That's dedicated
Amazing
right there.
costumes at GFest. Killed it, guys. Thank you for protecting the Earth from kaiju attacks. We got this gorgeous. Look at this girl.
Dear Lord in heaven.
Look at this Shivo.
Creative.
Oh,
David's
my
favorite
goodness.
kaiju.
Oh, there's my pals, Anthony
Yep.
Giordano's, huh?
and George.
Yeah.
Classic spot.
All right. I think that
Wow.
that's it for Christine's
Oh,
coverage.
boy.
Good stuff. And because I want to make sure we get. Oh, wait on, wrong thing. I want to make sure we get Leslie's coverage on here. I saved his lives from our Facebook group as well. So, Leslie, take it away.
Back again, folks, on Collect All Monsters. Oh, God. I'm about to walk up to one of my favorite vendors here at GFest. Man, I can't think straight. But let me show you right now, ladies and gentlemen. What am I doing? There we go. Kaiju Modeler.
How did I guess that was going to be first?
Right.
Of course, right?
It's like the only person like Leslie's excited
God,
for in
the
the
Kaiju
dealership.
Hey, the gals. Oh, God, the Gappa. Oh, God. They're awesome. They are so awesome. I give them so much money to these people, but you know what? I'm so cool with that. I really am.
Yeah, you do.
I really
Yeah,
am.
he does.
Oh, God. So if you come to GFest, hit up Kaiju Modeler. Hit up Kaiju Modeler, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Jack? What's up, man? How you doing? You gonna collect all monsters right now? Oh, look at that.
Oh, there's the tree sandwich.
Oh, look at the kits they got. They got Monster Maker 2874, Godzilla 74. Absolutely.
I think that's Robert
man,
Trott's
that's
kit, you guys.
Ooh, that's so awesome.
I think that tree sandwich.
Oh,
God.
really?
That's
That's
great.
cool,
Yeah, I
David.
think so.
That's great. And right here, oops, I'm sorry. And you got Blackheart models right here. You know, oh, that's so cool.
I'm just gonna say that
cool.
actually,
That's
for
the one
being
that,
this is also a
Greg,
Friday
this thing.
video. I'm kind of
You
surprised,
know,
pleasantly
Greg,
surprised at
you know
how
who he is. Did this
how less
awesome.
crowded it. I was
He did
and
this one,
I was
but he did
anticipating
one
more
just like
crowds
that. Legendary
in the
Godzilla.
dealer's room.
Y'all
So
wanna be,
seeing like how
Yeah.
it's
Oh, man.
crowded, but it's not like jam packed.
It's not unbearable.
Like
yeah.
that's what my memory is of the last G-Fest I went to.
They said
This
it
is so
was
cool.
a smaller dealer room, right,
Hopefully
this
you
year.
see a
So
little
maybe
tribute
people
to
I think it's a-
are inclined to go
I think
in
they
there.
just moved it. Is that what Leslie
Of course, you
said?
look
Is
closer.
smaller?
Yeah, he said
see
they moved
Greg
it closer to
Betters.
the elevators.
This is logo right there.
It's like one of the smaller rooms.
Yeah.
But it's still big. I mean, it's still big.
Yeah, there's so many people here. I don't want to like slam a camera up in their face, but man, God Almighty, this is so awesome. So, as a matter of fact, let me do a little 360 around the room, just in case they can show it on the show tomorrow. Because don't forget, even though we got GFest going on, we still got our monthly episode of Collect All Monsters going down tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel on the channel, where we're going to be discussing, or they're going to be discussing, the life and works of Eiji Tsuburaya. So please check it out. But yeah, I think they're going to try and splice in some of the footage that we're doing here on the live vlogs onto the show. So let me just show this around. There goes Sandra again.
Sandra looks fantastic.
Hey, I'm about to shut this down, but I want to say hey to George. And thank you for the GMK. But yeah, this is the madness. That's it. That's the legendary dealers room at GFest.
Yeah, it's not that busy, you guys. It's really
not. Yeah, please hit up my Kaiju and get you an awesome kit. Have Greg Betters, Marcellus Winters, David Dopko to, hook it up for you, Oh, this is so awesome. So, but that's it. That's it. So, hopefully you enjoyed these vlogs. I'm going to try and do more. It's really more congested this year than anything else. So, I may not do as many as I did before, but I definitely going to try and do as many as I can to try to bring the GFest experience to you. All right. Y'all take care.
There you go.
Leslie.
That was great.
All right. Fantastic. Well, thank you to our crew who's not here in studio with us today.
All right.
I definitely appreciate their efforts, and definitely I am serious. Next year, I'm going to make it happen because, yeah, every year I don't go, I get FOMO. And this year it was stronger than ever. So I definitely, there was a moment this year where I was like, man, should I try and go? But because Lady Kyle's going to America next month and other reasons, it was just not in the financial cards for me. So let's get that figured out for next year. If anybody from GFest is watching right now, like Jeff Horn or Martin Alt or anybody, like I definitely am interested in coming back to GFest in a big way. Not that it's about me, but like I definitely want to do a Collect All Monsters panel. And one of the things this is a little selfish to say, but one of the things I'm a little like jealous of this year is them bringing Hiroko Sakurai to GFest, because I would love to be the interviewer on that panel, but I'm just going to have to hopefully get a copy of it and watch it later, because I am definitely interested in hearing her stories. And this has been amazing. The guest list, the Ultraman connection at GFest is just like mind blowing. I cannot believe that they have all that stuff. And actually, so it's people who didn't go to GFest and maybe aren't in our group and aren't seeing this kind of stuff online. Tsuburaya actually is involved with this. They have brought guests like Hiroko Sakurai and Ben Furuya, and also have actual Tsuburaya suits, like the promo suits there. Someone's doing Ultraman appearances. I saw James LaRock posted in our group the full Ultraman versus Jiras fight that they did, like a choreographed fight on stage, which
place is going crazy.
Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I really am just beside myself with some of that stuff. So hopefully they come back next year as well for the 60th anniversary. We would do a cam panel. We did a cam panel before, it was a lot of fun. It included train wrecky things, but it was also good and nice. Ben Faria standing next to Leslie to say hi for me. Even though I need to find him here in Japan too. Yeah, but next year for sure. Like we would do a cam panel. We would do a organized a giveaway if we get stuff to give away. Probably we would. We got that first panel, or that second panel we did, technically the one we did in 2023 was incredible. We got Spiral and Tig and Kaiju Canvas donated a GMK for us to give away during the panel.
giveaway
and then we had
at
one
at the table.
at the table too, which was a Desugoji, and they were incredible. I actually, when David posted photos, and there's that one photo of the three of us, David, Christine, and I, with like the whole crowd behind us at the table.
Yeah, that was the
yeah, it
room,
was like so cool. So, I mean, I would love to get a dealer's room table anyway, just to, do some like fundraising for Collect All Monsters, so we could
that's another great idea, and
throw some stuff at for hosting and for translating interviews and stuff like that. But we'll see how that goes. I'm super down for it, and I would love to have the whole crew together, because even though we were all there together at that year. Well, John wasn't there.
No,
John Ruffin wasn't there.
No.
So we weren't all there. But maybe we can get John Ruffin to go, and we can all be there. Yeah.
The only year we were together, Kyle, was the year
before,
2019, we did with the Nishimuras, right? And that was
the very first panel we ever did
together.
There,
I think, if I'm not mistaken. But that was the one and only time that we all were there. Aside from our planning, remember we had our planning.
That's right.
Early morning, we had breakfast and went and had a little planning meeting about the show before we started the show. So
that's right.
It's overdue, and I think that if you can make it all the way from Japan, I think that Jonathan and I can make it from California, right?
I think I could do it. I think we could do it.
Absolutely.
Ganbate, as they say here in Japan. All right. I think it's time for us to take an intermission break, because I need to swap out my figures for the next segment.
I need a drink.
And so in exactly 2 minutes and 9 seconds, we will return with our Eiji Tsuburaya celebration.
Godzilla, a new breed of terror. Godzilla storms with a thundering smash and tail slash. But can it match Cyber Godzilla, shocking the Heat Team with cyber missile fire? Breathing doom, Godzilla's out to short-circuit the cyber monster menace. In the fight for ultimate Godzilla might, who will rule? Only you can decide. Godzilla, Cyber Godzilla, and human action figures, each sold separately.
さあみんなが大好きなウルトラマンエースが風船ガムになったよ。鳥獣やエースのかっこいいおまけが楽しい。ロッテウルトラマンエース風船ガム。
スタート。
Loved it.
Hey.
Fantastic.
All right.
It's great.
We've returned. I swear, sometimes those intermissions, they don't feel very long at all.
That was just 2 minutes I've ever spent in my life.
Welcome back to the second half of the show, everybody. We are going to be talking about the life, legacy, and more or less of Eiji Tsuburaya, the special effects god, as it were. Okay, so the way we're going to do this, I have my notes here. I have my outline. I should be able to figure this out. We are going to talk about our top 3 Tsuburaya Productions each. So each of us is covering 3 items, not items. Each of us is covering 3 series, titles, movies, etc. from Tsuburaya's legacy. And these are really when he was like actively producing and actively directing special effects, etc. We're going to have our own little commentary about certain items, and we're going to share some photos. Let me go ahead and start this with something I should have done ahead of time, and that is by getting some photos ready to go. Hide the sidebar and get back here so I could share the screen, because if you're not familiar with Eiji Tsuburaya, boy oh boy, you really should be, because this guy is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. He's the reason we love these movies so much, really. I mean, he's one of the components. And he was born in like a million years ago. Actually, do I even have that in my notes? I don't think I do.
I had it somewhere, but a million years ago.
1901?
Born 124 years ago. I think it was like 1901.
I think it was.
Because anyway,
right.
I was reading. So first up, oh yeah, I didn't put these guys away. But if you don't have it already, let me just say, I think all 3 of us have this book. This is August Ragone's Eiji Tsuburaya, Master of Monsters. It is a book put out by Chronicle.
Amazing book.
And it is absolutely phenomenal. What a wonderful, wonderful representation of his work. It's a great book. It's got a lot of people who contributed to it as well.
Absolutely.
And so I got to sort of revisit it and learn a bit more that I didn't remember about Eiji Tsuburaya, because his life up until he started working in film was actually very interesting as well. I mean, the guy, he was essentially, he was a creative person who lived in the age, obviously without the internet, without a lot of information. And in Japan, if you saw something you were interested in, you wanted to learn how it worked. When he saw something he was interested in, he wanted to learn how it worked. And he would reverse engineer and dissect and disassemble and reassemble things. That's how he got into planes and aircraft. And that's how he got, and then he saw movies and stuff like that. And before King Kong, he got interested in how movie cameras worked. Then he saw King Kong in 1933 when it came to Japan, and he was like, oh, I want to learn how this works. And so they didn't have Starlog magazine and those things back then, so he basically reverse engineered all of these processes and figured out how to make special effects. And he was basically the first person in Japan to really focus on special effects wizardry for movies. And he's, Tsuburaya and Japanese cinema have been credited over the years by American filmmakers, but not as much as maybe it should be. So today what we're doing is we are honoring, and this could be like one of many celebrations of Tsuburaya's work and life, because there's just so much.
He's done so much.
And we are Kaiju fans, obviously. You're probably a Kaiju fan if you're watching this show as well. And so basically you are here to hear what we're going to talk about, but his legacy involves so much more than just monster movies. Thank you, Michael. Yes.
Thanks, Mike.
I thought it was 1901 or something like that.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
You got it.
But basically, Tsuburaya, he kind of like got into the Japanese film industry when it started. And as he continued to grow and experience Japan as its history continued, he ebbed and flowed with the film industry and became a bigger and bigger deal until, which for us, it kind of came to a very big point in 1954 when he did the special effects for Godzilla. And then I'm going to just say right now, the rest is history. We're not even going to really talk about it except in our own ways and what we're going to be covering. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take our 3 highlighted titles and we're going to talk about them in chronological order. And so let me get this back on screen here before we get moving into that. So there's Tsuburaya. He actually developed a crane for filming before there were cranes, and apparently his designs are still being used today in the film industry. Here's the old man, or the father of special effects, as he's sometimes called. This is the classic look of Tsuburaya back in the day. He was apparently always smoking. You're going to see a lot of smoking Tsuburaya in this. Should have one of those warnings that you see in front of like streaming movies. Sometimes they're like where you're watching an old film and it says like depictions of tobacco use up at the top, because I feel like most of the photos of him, he has a cigarette in his hand. And then here's a picture of him later in his life at home. And like only a few color photos I've ever seen of him.
Yeah, wow.
But anyway, that's the preface to our Tsuburaya chat. And to go in order, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with Jonathan Portman, who's going to be covering something that was only a few years after Godzilla came out. So Jonathan, why don't you take us away with Battle in Outer Space? Oh, I should have said take us to space.
It's okay. We're there anyway. We just did.
Okay.
Well,
all right. Let me get your photos up too.
You know, I chose Battle in Outer Space because that one doesn't get talked about a lot, and we tend to talk more on the Godzilla side of things, which is totally fine. But I wanted to focus, at least with one of my picks, on something that is not highlighted as much, and a film that really Tsuburaya spearheaded into existence. His love and intrigue on the space race in the early days really led to this idea of, you know, a moon expedition, so to speak. And we have Battle in Outer Space. That is the film that we get out of that. And you see these pictures are absolutely incredible. I mean, we have the set pieces from the very beginning of the film. Excuse me.
The storyboards are great.
At the base and up, what is it? The satellite up in space where the base gets attacked, and then you have the amazing moon set piece, you know, and you have the space opera battle at the end, and you have the incredible visual effects of everything getting, all the buildings and everything getting sucked up into the sky. The
Absolutely
gravity effects were insane. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in more detail. But just his eye for scale, his eye for framing shots, the techniques that were employed in a lot of these films, especially early on, and in color as well, this film being in color, when a lot of films, you know, weren't being done in color at this time. I mean, I believe like Varan made around a similar time frame, obviously made as a TV film. Initially as a black and white. So you have a film like Battle in Space in color.
So we're talking about 1959. So basically, this was one of Toho's first science fiction films. The first was in color, sorry, and the first was Rodan, but that was obviously 56, and that was a not widescreen. And then this is a direct sequel to Mysterians, which was also in color and also used the Toho scope widescreen format. Also, I think used a stereoscopic sound, like a pre-history version of that in a sense. But yeah, this is so as sort of like, it's not a direct sequel to Mysterians, but it like definitely is a continuation of the expansion of special effects for Toho and Tsuburaya.
Absolutely,
100%. I mean, I love these photos you grabbed. Like, there's not a lot out there.
I've never seen these.
I've never seen them. I've never seen these either. You know, the one of the biggest things about Battle in Outer Space that I love and always gets me is that they're, you know, pretty much the first depiction from their perspective on the moon and the surface and moving around and being on that surface and being in space and kind of navigating what it looked like. What was it? Very craterous? Were there mountains? And the way they depicted it was very evocative of all of the older silent films that would come out. Talking about space exploration and very inspired by things. One that comes to mind, George Powell's Destination Moon, right? Very heavily inspired by the films that came before as well, and putting his own spin on it. I always loved the twilighty look of outer space on those backdrops, those beautiful bluish, blackish, twilighty backdrops of space and the stars. The moon set is probably one of my favorite aspects about Battle in Outer Space. And when it comes to the big epic conclusion of the film, you have the battle in outer space, quite literally. And then you have the, it's like the anti-gravity beam that they basically zaps up the city, the buildings, and all the debris. You see the amazing shots of the bridges going up and even the water. I mean, the way they were able to do that was just insane. A lot of kind of simple, very industrial techniques, but complicated in their execution. And they worked brilliantly in the film.
And they still hold up today, if you ask me.
Oh, 100%. And it's funny, if you took that same exact sequence, I believe this. If you took that same sequence and they did it in the Heisei era, no disrespect at all to Koichi Kawakita and any of the amazing people that worked and developed the visual effects for the Heisei era, or anyone that would do so. But I don't feel like you would get the same look. You wouldn't get it as visceral as it was in that time. And that's because they employed some really cool little simple techniques, the lightweight materials they use: cardboard, wafer thin, paraffin, styrofoam, pre-cut and assembled. And then they had these huge, these vats underneath the set that would just shoot everything up. And, the compressed air would just and blow everything up. And then they would mat in the humans and stuff that were being taken up. It was really well done and very epic for 1959. And like you said, Kyle, first, they did the Mysterians before that, but this is their first foray into an epic, space opera, space versus humans versus aliens in outer space sort of film. It's really wonderful and epic, and the music score by Ifukube is second to none. I mean, there's so many things to love about the film. And the one thing that Eiji Tsuburaya, and this is kind of all encompassing all of his work, that I'll say, he was known for his love of children and not refusing to break the immersion of the fun that his special effects and the impact they had on the world, and especially with children. He would go out of his way to not break that immersion, and in a sense also make it fun. So at times you would see things that weren't necessarily 100% realistic, but they were intentional. He didn't want to scare people too much, right? He wanted to make these films fun for everyone, especially for kids. His whole idea of not breaking children's dreams, right? That's
a direct quote, actually.
100%. And so the focus on dreams and fantasy for him, I absolutely adore the man and his works. And he will live on and be continued to be admired, and people will continue to be influenced by his work for decades and centuries. So that's my first pick at Battle in Outer Space. And who would be next in this case?
Well, were you gonna show the?
Oh, thank you, Kyle. My God, this is another thing I forgot about, is that we were doing collectibles.
It's collect all monsters, so we show off the collectibles related to these. Yeah,
gotta throw something in there. So I chose, astonishingly, the only thing that I have in my collection that's from Battle in Outer Space is the Blu-ray double feature that has Battle in Outer Space on it with the H-Man as well. Two great films to pair together, I gotta say. That's actually a nice pairing. So I'm glad, I'm fortunate I have this. I don't know, it's pretty available. You can get it, on Amazon for probably like $10-15 or something. So that's my one piece of collectible from Battle in Outer Space. Nice. So there we go. That's my first item.
Yeah, I'd say there's not a lot of collectibles for Battle in Outer Space. As far as I know, I think there's only like cast company.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, Iwakura cast company stuff.
They have
and
the
then
Natals,
maybe like model
creatures.
kits.
They have the little creatures.
Yeah, the little Natals.
That's it, really.
Wasn't there a Sofubi of the Natal that was
Not that I
made
know
by
of.
someone?
Yeah, I think Toygraph maybe made.
Oh, really? I've never seen it.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm gonna just do a quick look up real quick because I am curious about that.
So while you're looking that up, I'm just.
This is an interesting question.
Yeah, it
Daniel.
is. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Jonathan, I appreciate that you chose a more obscure title for one of your picks, because maybe some of our viewers who are watching now or will watch it in the future will say, "Hey, I need to see Battle in Outer Space." Oh yes, damn, there it is.
I want one of those.
I want one too.
I want one of
those.
Toygraph.
Wow, there you go. No, but choosing a film that I dare say quite a few of the fans have never seen, because it's kind of obscure. There's no real, monster or kaiju in it. It's nice to get people interested in other things, and it's tough because actually I think this is a good segue, because I think I'm next, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's great, because when this was proposed to Jonathan and I by Kyle, it's really hard to pick three because there's so many that are impactful. But I think that the one that I chose is a very famous one, and it's very impactful and very important in the sequence of films in the fandom, in the genre. And of course, I chose King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yes.
And as Kyle was referring to earlier, Tsuburaya his life was changed when he went to the theater and saw the original King Kong when it came to Japan in 1933. It had a profound influence on him, and it actually encouraged him to choose a career in special effects. That's what did it, And after seeing this film, Tsuburaya spent hours and months and even years probably trying to dissect and understand Willis O'Brien's techniques. And it's when Toho, when he found out that Toho got the rights to King Kong from RKO, he cleared his schedule like immediately, and he says, "I need to work on this because it's full circle for him." It's like, and it's just, I can't emphasize how impactful this was to him as a person and a filmmaker and a special effects artist. So I got some notes here. What else did I want to say here? That's pretty much it. But
I like how when they asked him how long it was going to take to do
7
King
years.
Kong,
Yep.
he was like 7 years.
7
They're
years.
like, no.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly right. He approached Tomoyuki Tanaka and Honda, I believe, to say he wanted to initially do the film in stop motion, and they just couldn't afford it in the time or the money or anything or the techniques. But he put so much into this film that it's sad in a way that he was getting all kinds of criticism for the Kong suit, because that was the catalyst to make him want to do it. But what happened, there's several things happened not in his favor. They spent so much money, his special effects team, on the miniatures. I've never seen such great miniatures. The electric towers around Tokyo, the Mount Fuji, the cityscape where Kong, rampages through, the NATO base, the Faroe Island, everything. There's so much time and effort and money put into that. And even the Godzilla suit got star treatment. But when it came to the Kong suit, I think they probably did that like it's almost an afterthought, because and it's not all his fault, and it's not all Honda's fault. Now, RKO, I don't know if you guys know this, had definite stipulations saying that their Toho's Kong can look nothing like the 33 Kong. So in fairness, it could not look like the Willis O'Brien Kong. And so they didn't pattern him off of a gorilla. They patterned him off of a macaque. Is what they said, is what Tsuburaya said. So that's one of the reasons that the Kong suit looks so shoddy. And I think the money, they really spent so much on the special effects
and the licensing,
and with the licensing.
They had to the amount of money that RKO charged them for the Kong license was like basically almost prohibitive to the budget. Yeah,
huge chunk of the budget. But having said all of that, he still made it work. And even though the Kong suit isn't the best it could probably be, it's still iconic. And East versus West, it was Godzilla's 30th anniversary, or Toho's 30th anniversary, and they wanted to do a spectacle, and boy did they. And I still think, if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the highest grossing Godzilla films in the entire genre, still to this day. And without it, America would not have seen more Godzilla films, or the world. I think they would have probably put a stop to it. But it was so popular and so iconic both in Japan and in the United States. It had to. It's an important film, and I had to include it in my list. And I love it. I've loved it since I was a kid. It came on every Thanksgiving in New Jersey, and I really think that it's sad. One last thing I'm going to say, it is sad that Willis O'Brien didn't have really any hand in the Toho, RKO Godzilla deal, a Kong deal, because wouldn't it have been great if Tsuburaya would have had the opportunity to work with his iconic, inspiration, Willis O'Brien? I think that would have been great. And he did sneak two sequences that are sort of stop motion-esque in the film. Of course, the octopus scene on Faroe Island, there's a couple of the tentacles are animated very much like stop motion, and that real quick drop kick that Godzilla does to Kong, he had to shove some of that in there, but that pretty much was the way it went. That's the way it rolled. And as sad as it is that Kong didn't look better, it's still a fantastic film and very important film that I had to include. So
I feel like 100%. Kong has, when I first became a Godzilla fan, I thought that Kong looked ridiculous. I actually really did not like him. And then there's a lot of these movies, because they're so old, they get a big pass card for me where I'm like, okay, yeah, of course, these movies are so old that they couldn't have done X, Y, or Z, or spent more time doing, 1, 2, and 3. That's just how it is, and the Kong suit, I don't actually, these days, I like the Kong suit. I love the Kong face of the suit. But yeah, when you go cut to the puppet version of him and stuff like that, those are where I get that sort of oh yes, let me pull out the pass card and give it right to this movie. Right. I love this movie. I love the American version for the sort of nostalgicness of it. But if you have not seen the Japanese version of King Kong vs. Godzilla, you really, really deserve to check it out. It's really great. And one of the things I say when I do things like introduce the movies is the American version sort of treats it like a standard monster movie
fare,
but really it is a satirical stab from Ishiro Honda on rampant commercialism, and it's a comedy for sure. It's like a comedy.
Played for a comedy. It's not.
And it's so good when you look at it like that, when it's supposed to be funny, as opposed to watching the American version where you're kind of like, oh, this is like cheesy fun, or they think it's cheesy fun, and that's how they do. Yeah,
and the music,
satire, and again,
right, the music. Yeah,
it's just sad that Kong couldn't have been realized better, because even the suit itself, the eyes, the reason his eyes are milky is because they would fog up. You couldn't see the pupils because they didn't put as much love as they did in the Godzilla suit, which is still one of the community's favorite icons. what's the word I'm looking for? Incarnations of Godzilla. And
Quintessential? No.
Quintessential?
I don't know if I'd say. I don't know if I'd go that far as to say quintessential,
Okay.
but it is like if you now times have changed, but like when I was growing up and 70s and 80s, if you were to ask somebody to say show an image of Godzilla, it would be the 62 Godzilla because they played it so much on TV and everybody thought that was Godzilla, even though that suit was kind of a one-off, But anyway, so let's move right on to my collectible, and of course I had to choose since I've talked so much about Kong, the Roto Kaiju.
Oh yeah,
nice.
King Kong, sculpted by Beto
Beautiful.
Mitali. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is the quintessential representation of Kong in figure or kit, in my humble opinion. And I built and painted this. I think I did 9 of these for people over the years. So if you have a Kong, send it my way. I've got it down. I've got it down to a science. And yeah, it's a fantastic likeness. It looks just like the actual one of the suits where the arms didn't have the poles in there that were extended, which I don't think that was a great
That's
choice.
actually what I love about the Billiken is like
yes,
the extended
Billiken does have the
version.
extended arms. Oh, and one more thing that just reminded me, one of the things, RKO was really, really tough on their contract, and 2 other things had to happen. He had to climb a building, and he had to have a girl in his hand. Those are the 2 things that RKO made sure that Toho did, which was really kind of difficult because Kong's scale was all over the place. If you really stop and think about it, he's as big as Godzilla, and then he's got a girl in his hand. It's like playing around with scale a little bit, but we don't care because we love it. We love it. We love the goofy camp of the U.S. version, and we love the satirical version from Japan. And contrary to popular belief, when I was growing up, I thought there was 2 endings. Famous Monsters of Filmland had always said there was 2 endings, one in Japanese and one in America. And the Japanese version supposedly had Godzilla the victor. And, I'm sure Leslie has a lot to say about that. So I'm going to leave it there on who the
Why
victor
not
was.
both, right?
Why not both? But anyway, this is the Roto Kaiju model kit of King Kong 62. And yes, I did. I worked very hard on King Kong's chest. Yes, I did. And his face and everything.
It shows.
But now I've got it down to a science, so I can do it, overnight. Keith hears me, doing these paints, and there's some expletives arise from time to time when things don't go just right, or I had it right and then I change it. But anyway, said enough. King Kong versus Godzilla is one of my picks. So that's that.
Love it.
A quintessential pick. From Tsuburaya's
catalog.
Portfolio catalog, yeah. All right, what's next? Because you're next, David.
I'm next again? Oh my God,
next again.
All right, so let's go to my my favorite film in the genre is Mothra vs. Godzilla 1964. Yes. And I think that this film, along with many other fans, it is the paragon of excellence. It is the magnum opus. It began the golden age. It harbored in the golden age of tokusatsu, where everything came together. Honda, Ifukube, and of course Tsuburaya all were at the top of their games, and they treated everything about this production, gave it star quality, and it's just kind of like there's no way that I could not pick this one as one of my choices. Now, as we know, Tsuburaya's attention to detail with miniatures, with buildings, with sets, the Godzilla costume, the Mothra costume, they all got star treatment. I think that was a direct quote from August's book, Master of Monsters. Thank you, August, for the reference and for the information. The Godzilla suit was slimmed down. It was easier for Nakajima to maneuver in it. And again, Tsuburaya had his hand on all of these things. And for Tsuburaya, we sort of alluded to this before. Tsuburaya did not want to alienate children or ruin their fantasy, however it was put. but I think this is one of the most somber and dark Godzilla films in the whole series. Because a lot of things happen, and Godzilla is pretty evil. Like, he is not just a force of nature. He is an evil incarnation in this film, and I'm sure Honda had a big hand in that, because that was the direction he wanted to take the character in. And oh yeah, and here, this is a perfect segue. This is one of the few films in the genre where there was actually special effects shots filmed for the U.S. audiences only. And the Frontier missile scene is fantastic. I love it. I really hope that one Blu-ray release or 4K release, they'll include it into the film. If they do like another 4K version of the US version, it's just in the film.
That'd be nice, right?
Instead of a supplemental, because it's so great. And I always remember it as a kid. It was always one of my favorite scenes as a kid. But it's just amazing. Now I do want to dive into some of the contributions that Tsuburaya brought to this production, as well as the ones that followed it. He actually sort of achieved a stop motion effect by using a strobe camera effect when, at the end of the battle where Mothra is flying over Godzilla and she is flapping her wings violently, and the yellow powder, the last weapon of last resort, is coming on Godzilla, and Godzilla is kind of writhing, and it looks like stop motion, but it's done by a strobe camera effect that he created to sort of, you know, get that feeling across that he wanted. And it's very effective, actually. It's quite effective. And he also sort of implemented blue screen traveling mats, double printing, and glass matte painting, and he used it perfectly. It all came together in this particular film. And he I can't remember the name of the processor, but he had a film processor.
The optical printer?
The optical printer.
That's
Oxbury
right. 1900.
Oxbury 1900.
Actually, the Oxbury wasn't purchased until after this film was finished.
Oh, I thought it was utilized for this film.
No, so actually, I was reading through the timeline on that. I think it was in between this one and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monsters when they acquired the Oxbury printer.
Because,
which honestly is actually, I think I was really harsh on this movie's composites, because I was like, why does it look so good? Why doesn't it look so good when some of the stuff, when they got this like crazy printer? But timing wise, I'm pretty sure it was after this movie, in between the two.
That would make sense, because I think some of the scenes look great, and then some of them look terrible. You know, there's some that really work. Like, there's one scene specifically where Godzilla is walking in Nagoya and he's heading towards the tower. No, he's heading towards the castle, and you know, you see the people and the buildings, and the Godzilla just kind of appears from the corner of the screen. It looks absolutely real, but yet when he goes up against the Nagoya castle, that looks sort of amateurish. But yeah, I guess you're right. But he did. That was something that he did, and he did contribute, and I'm sure that was used in Monster Zero, and like hopefully, probably Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster as well. But no, he really, you know, didn't hold out on this film. Like, everything came together, and there's another one of his little puppets. There's a little bit of stop motion like the strobe camera effect when Godzilla with the puppets are kind of fighting too. But yeah.
Mark is asking if he said, wasn't he the first person in Japan to own that printer also? Not only was he the first person in Japan, well, Disney was the only other company that had the Oxbury. And so it was basically Disney had it, and he was like, I got to have this. And it was so expensive that, oh man, I can't remember the whole story behind it, but basically this optical printer, he didn't care about the price. He was like, I have to have this. Yeah. And it was so expensive that it had an impact on who helped him purchase it and what he ended up doing for them. So the optical printer came in clutch when it was time to do Ultra Q, which we'll talk about in couple minutes here.
No, but this film was a turning point in the career of Eiji Tsuburaya, and again, his collaborative efforts with the rest of the Dream Team, Ifukube and Honda, and it just
Shinichi Sekizawa too,
and Sekizawa and Tomoyuki Tanaka too. All of the people who were instrumental in making these films and producing these films, distributing these films, they all were at the top of their game in this film. So there's no way, just because it's one of my favorites, there's no way this one should be ignored, because it's just that good to me. But
fully agree, man.
Yep. What does Robert say? Definitely an improvement, the quality as far as the Shobijin. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think like some of the Shobijin shots were fantastic, and some of them were a little maybe could have been better. But again, when you don't have the technology, you make up for it otherwise with creativity, and he had that in spades. And there's just, I don't know. I can go on and on, but I think I've said quite enough. And
no, David, you brought up a perfect thing. You said something very profound, and that like with his limitations and with the budget and their limitations, they got the most out of everything they ever did.
Absolutely.
And they did it very creatively. And they created a lot of really creative techniques. Things like the water effects they would do in like the water tanks for like, smoke and like different like techniques they would do and stuff like that. Like it adds a level of immersion and practicality that you don't get. Even with CG today, it just looks kind of goofy sometimes. They make it look worse actually. But with Tsuburaya and his team, they were able to achieve a lot of things that really back then still hold up, and I think they look great. They're like timeless.
I think so too. And a modern comparison to that is when they were talking about the budget for Godzilla -1 versus the budget for Ant-Man. It's like, they did so much with such a small budget, and they made it work because they reused sets, they reused props, they used a lot of practical effects. I think in a lot of ways, when you're strained budgetarily, your creativity comes through, and it ends up being a blessing in disguise, if that makes any sense to you guys.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, I think one of the things to take away from there is like especially one of the things I took away from August's book is Eiji Tsuburaya never said that's impossible, we can't do it. Right? Like his MO was to be like, yes, we can do that, and then figure out how to do it. And it was
never
the creativity.
Never tell me the odds.
Research, it was this creativity that allowed him and his crew to figure out how to make something a reality on screen. I love that.
100%.
All right. Who's next? What do we got next? I think Kyle, right?
That would be me. Would be me.
Kyle,
yeah.
Yes.
So we've covered 1962, 1964. Let's jump into the next year, 1965, with which this is not a big surprise. This is my favorite Godzilla movie. I almost felt like I should have done the Jonathan thing and chosen something a little less iconic for me. But you were right, David. I definitely don't think this should be ignored, because in my opinion, this movie is the special effects culmination of Toho, and also includes the 5 pillars of Tomoyuki Tanaka, Eiji Tsuburaya, Ishiro Honda, Shinichi Sekizawa, and Akira Ifukube. These Monster Zero, Invasion of Astro Monster, Kaiju Daisenso, as it would be called. I'm not going to grab it off the wall, but right back here is one of my favorite collectibles. The not original, but reproduced for a special set speed poster from this movie. It's like such a gorgeous piece in my collection. Someone earlier said they love the art up on my walls. I thank you very much. I also love the art up on my walls. I had so much art in my Beaverton house up on the walls. And here it's a fraction of what it was at once. However, here's what I'm going to say about Monster Zero right now about Invasion of Astro Monster and Kaiju Daisenso. This movie, I really do think that in terms of special effects, it's tops for me. There's some goofy stuff, but the goofy stuff is on purpose. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it. Obviously, this is also where I feel Tsuburaya and crew, the whole Toho aspect of things, also did that wonderful handshake with Henry Saperstein that started technically with Frankenstein Conquers the World, with this particular, where they're bringing in American actors to be on screen with people. So Nick Adams, he brings a level of gravitas in a sense to this film, but also they keep it lighthearted. They keep it fun. They add, there is comedy, there is special effects, and there is fantasy in this movie, and that's the pillars of Tsuburaya Productions, the three pillars of Tsuburaya Productions that we'll talk about very soon, because around the time that David is talking about Mothra versus Godzilla, Tsuburaya pushed out on his own to create Tsuburaya Productions, or what would become Tsuburaya Productions, his own effects house, where he didn't have the limitations that were sort of dictated to him by Toho. And of course, Toho helped that become a thing. And he, of course, because they benefited from Tsuburaya Productions having that freedom and that creativity, that unbridled creativity to apply to special effects. And then you get, Saperstein was Henry Saperstein from American International Pictures was not a stranger, because he had also distributed some of the movies from Toho, but he recognized what could happen and how these things could be good. So he is the one that helped organize getting Nick Adams over there, followed by Jonathan's choice next in War of the Gargantuas with Russ Tamblyn, and then later on other people as well. But this was, for me in Godzilla movies, this is where I'm like, this movie shines. You got Nick Adams, who's amazing, Akira Takarada, who's amazing. Like, everything just works so well for me in this film. I love all the characters. I love everything about it. I'm just giddy even thinking about it. So what I should probably start doing is sharing the images, because they're pretty dope as well. Not that one, this one. If you have not seen them, I'm going to just I'm not going to go through them super duper quickly, but I've got 30 images here. I guess the sad note about this film is that officially this movie is where this was like the last movie in the Godzilla series to employ the entire Toho visual effects production team. Because a number of the contracts that were expiring, and this is when Toho's hold on people was starting to loosen a bit, and some people were forming their own companies. But all that stuff is covered in August's book. But this is sort of like, in a sense, it's kind of like the last hurrah for not just Godzilla and Toho and in this era to me, but it's just like a culmination of amazingness. I love everything about this movie. I love how the special effects came to be. Roxy, you're just gonna have to wait. Sorry, we're doing the show still. Yeah, chotomate onegaishimasu. But yeah, some of the special effects that they had in this movie are, to be truthful, Tsuburaya was the head of the department, and you had people like Yasuyuki Inoue, who was one of the production designers, but he came up with the idea of having the P1. Wait, where was it? It's in the background there.
Look at the size
having
of that
the
prop.
P1
Jeez.
come up from the from the ground, right? So they dug a hole through the set floor in the studio. And yeah, I think honestly, like that's one of the things that makes this movie like amazing. And then they did that again in like Destroy All Monsters. Hang on one second. But yeah, Monster Zero, man, like honestly, like this movie is the best for me. And there's so much like there's Tsuburaya sleeping on set. I mean, the word is that Tsuburaya was such a workhorse that he would come into the studio and he would sometimes pull all-nighters, or he would go sleep in his office so that when he woke up, he was able to get right back to work. Yeah, that's right, Mark. Yasuyuki Inoue gave himself permission to make the hole in the studio floor. If you haven't seen it, there's a documentary called Bringing Godzilla Down to Size, which was directed by Norman England, and Ed Godziszewski and Steve Reifel had a big hand in making it, and they focus on Yasuyuki Inoue because he was integral for like basically the entire first half of the Godzilla movies. It just really like a phenomenal character in the special effects department. Anyway, actually right there, I'm not going to do this too much. You can see on the left there, the guy in the hat and the glasses, the sunglasses kind of, yes. That is Teruyushi Nakano, who would eventually take over the special effects directing after Tsuburaya passed away. There's Nakajima with, wow. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Do I need to talk too much more about how much I love this movie, or why this movie is iconic?
Planet X is like incredible set.
The set of Planet X is, I mean, there's so many, everything comes together in this film, even more so, I have to admit, even more so than Mothra vs. Godzilla, because everything is so streamlined and so smooth and so effortless. It looks like, if that makes any sense to you, it seems like it seems effortless.
100%.
The way, and that's a tribute, considering the monsters don't show up to like well into the film, and we're still engaged and interested. Mm-hmm. And it's a tribute to everybody involved in it. And you know, the lightning, just when the lightning strikes on Planet X, and the cylinder, and beautiful special effects.
The lake effects.
Detail is next level. The lake, when one of my favorite scenes in the whole film is when the saucers rise from Lake Kyoshi.
Oh, dude.
It's like
such an incredible effect.
It's absolutely stunning, and that totally holds up to today. So again, choosing one of a movie that's your favorite or you want to showcase is next to impossible, because this one's way up there with me too.
No arguments.
And there's no way, and Kyle, there's no way you could not include this in your list. Sorry.
True.
Right?
You've done good.
So let me just quickly show off my collectible choices. I have several of Monster Zero collectibles, but I have to basically say the Sofubi of Marmot's Parababy series. Here's the Godzilla that I have.
I've got him right there. He's right over there.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The Rodan also from this. And then I did not bring down the Ghidorah, because technically the Ghidorah is from Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, because the Parababy comes with the egg. Yeah. But like I'm saying, that's technically, it's a release. It's a 1964 Ghidorah, technically speaking. But I also have the controller.
Oh yeah, you do.
Oh yeah.
And
that's the Parababy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Miss Namikawa. Oh. Whoa, turn around, girl.
Oh, I love that. I love that little bass you have there.
They're okay. The problem is that this, you know, as Sofubi goes, they're very prone to knock over. And we got a lot of earthquakes here in Japan.
Their feet are that big. So yeah.
And because of the Parababies, they now I got a bunch of that stuff sort of like separate, but the Godzilla and the Rodan also came with the spaceships, the P1 and the
P1 that he got in Anime Jungle.
Ixion spaceship.
That's the gray blank. It's like a blank.
Yeah, this one
gray
came with, I think, Godzilla.
That's cool.
Or I can't remember which came.
That's the
with
one I
which,
saw.
but-
That's the promotional photo I saw
That's the
when
one
I
you
was.
saw.
That's the one. Well, like the one that I saw when I researched it. I was like, oh snap, that's cool.
Okay, so that's my choices for collectibles.
Wait, hold up. We forgot my collectible from Monster.
Oh yeah, what
Godzilla.
happened there?
I don't know. Well,
Rewind.
Here he is.
Nice.
Just chose one of my favorite sculpts of the 64 Godzilla. This is the Saru Jirushi. And I just love this colorway. You don't see this one very often. It's an early one, and I just think it's perfect for this particular figure. And I've got a lot of 64 stuff, but I just wanted to show off one. I mean, just look behind you. You probably see it behind there. And of course, you know, the KOC is the quintessential representation. you know where I'm going with this.
Sure.
But this is another one of my favorites in Sofubi form for the 1964 Mosu Goji. So there you have it.
Badass figure.
Better late than never.
Better late than never.
Well, thank you very much, David.
Well, thank you.
I guess technically speaking, I'm going to be the next as well.
Go for it.
Because shortly during, I guess, maybe after this, I think maybe after the Kaiju's Daisenso was released. Please don't quote me on that time-wise, but around the same time, Tsuburaya Productions, after a long history of development of this show, went from a project called Woo to a project, fast forward to a project called Unbalance, to a project called Ultra Q. And Ultra Q is really sort of the very first product for television, television series wise, first product for Tsuburaya Productions. And so what I'm going to do here is just quickly talk about Ultra Q, some details about Ultra Q. First up, if you have not seen this show, it was originally broadcast starting January 2nd of 1966. Production originally began September 27th of 1964 and wrapped in December 1965. So it took over a year to make the show. There were 28 episodes. It was eventually made for Tokyo Broadcasting System, aka TBS here in Japan. The elevator pitch, I guess, would be Kenji Sahara's character, Jun Manjome, and his sidekick Ippei are both pilots for an air service. They investigate mysteries of the unknown with the help of a plucky young news photographer, Yuriko Kurakata, who is played by Hiroko Sakurai, in a black and white television series featuring aliens, ghosts, and monsters of all shapes and sizes as science fiction runs amok. Like Twilight Zone meets Outer Limits, meets Godzilla, almost meets the X-Files, but all from the special effects monsters, but all from the genius special effects masters from Toho Studios. The interesting history of this show is really cool, and definitely if you don't have August's book, it goes into it quite a bit. Let's see here. Let's shrink this a bit so that I can see my pictures and my notes here at the same time. It originally was a creation called Woo, which is basically the idea of like this alien that comes to Earth and interacts with humans and finds a common ground with humans and helps them out. And if that sounds a little familiar, it's because the basic concept for that became Ultraman, which we'll talk about later. So the construction of this story went from that to becoming a show called Unbalance, which was definitely being produced for TBS. And one of the things that I love about this show is that this not only has like all of the sort of big names from the special effects department of Toho, but they also tapped into like Japan's top science fiction writers at the time. And so there's a lot of stories in here in Ultra Q in their 28 episodes that are like, some of them are hard sci-fi and some of them are like lighthearted kids stories. Do you guys know why this is called why it was turned into Ultra Q from Unbalance?
I don't think I do.
So in 1964, the Olympics happened in Japan, and one of the Japanese gymnastic contestants, that is not the right, Olympians, got some gold medals, and his technique was called Ultra C. And one of the NHK broadcasters apparently kept using the word Ultra C, like Ultra C, probably she technically, but during that, and it sort of like caught hold of the zeitgeist in Japan. And so they were like, well, Unbalance is like, let's not really call it Unbalance. What if we like hooked into that? And because they agreed to it, they were like, okay, well, what can we call it? So instead of Ultra C, they called it Ultra Q, and Q sort of stands for question or quest. And then at the same time on TBS, which was on the opposite side of the broadcast for the Ultra Q happened, and then an anime called Q Taro, which is about it's like an animated ghost show. So that created like the hour of Q essentially, and that's why we ended up with Ultra Q.
That's very
that cool. I mean, there's so much in this show that's awesome, and I just forgot to start cycling through my photos. Of course, I don't have that many. Unfortunately, there's not that many photos of Tsuburaya, at least that I have, where he was like on set. And this is, of course, where he's on set with Garamon. So that's the guy who plays Garamon, which will later become Pigmon. And that's specifically from the episode where Garamon is attacking the city of Tokyo. But yeah, so basically Ultra Q is an anthology like series. It is not necessarily like a cohesive storyline throughout the whole thing. There's the three characters that you see there in the background of Jun, Ippei, and Yuriko. I like those guys better than a lot of the other series in Ultraman. I mean, in Ultra history. The monsters from Ultra Q are absolutely iconic in terms of quintessentialism, David and Jonathan.
Yes.
Let's just say Ultra Q is really what started the collectible boom of the collectible arm of the monster boom, because Marusan came in, and their original incarnation of Marusan had, I think it was actually, it might have been Ishizuka who eventually formed the Bullmark resurrection of Marusan, that said, I think kids are going to want to actually play with the monsters. So we should make toys of the monsters as figures. And I think that is something that should not be understated, not just in the history of Ultra Q, the history of Tsuburaya, but also the history of collecting. And so
it's important, very important.
The original boom, the original explosion of collectibles for this, and really, if you talk to Matt Alt about it, he talked about this in the interview I did with him 5 years ago. Basically, before this, you didn't really have monster toys or toy figures, figural representation of characters that were in these movies and TV shows. When we talked about packaging a couple of episodes ago, like the Mysterians had a toy, but it was a ray gun, right? And so that was sort of like what toys were before 1966, is they were these sort of like, how do kids pretend to be the characters in the movie? And then when this show happens, that's when the Kaiju figures are released. And that is what, Star Wars figures, that's not the first time. It's Ultra Q figures.
True. Very true.
And then, of course, that expands into Ultraman. And then the Godzilla series picks up with that in 1966 as well. So it was a big year for Marathon like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop talking about Ultra Q. If you have not seen it, it is available from us. Actually, it was available through Shout Factory in America on DVD, and then it was put out on Blu-ray by Mill Creek. So it should still be acquirable.
And it's streaming on Amazon Prime and or Tubi,
cool.
So you can stream the original Japanese episodes that are subtitled. So if you don't want to buy it, you can. If you have any one of those channels, you can watch it for free.
So collectible wise, boy oh boy,
you got a lot.
I talked about the Marathon stuff, the Bullmark stuff, and Sofubi have represented Ultra Q from their original designs throughout history, and I could show those off. However, I also want to give a shout out to X Plus, because before they started their large monster series with the boxed figures, they also had carded versions of all the figures. You can't really see it, but back here I have one of the only X Plus figures I have left, especially from the carded series, is a Gomez. But they did every single monster from the Ultra Q series in both a color version and a black and white version. And some of them, they even had like Gomez. There's actually even a secondary version of Gomez as well. But I'm not going to show off that Gomez. I'm going to show off something even more rarely seen on this show, which is a company called Future or Artstorm. And they put out, actually, let me blow myself up here real quick. They put out a phenomenal pairing of Gomez and Litra.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
Which are the monsters from the first episode of Ultra Q. One of my favorites, even though it's not a really phenomenally written episode. Obviously, this monster, Gomez, was sort of the 1964 Godzilla suit repurposed as another monster for Tsuburaya. And shout out to Eric Henry, actually. It's too bad that Leslie's not here to give him a little crap, but Eric Henry, I know he would. Yeah. Eric Henry sold me this. And I was like, dude, this is such a cool design. It's sort of realistically painted, but it's just beautifully sculpted. Nice. And Artstorm did maybe like 6 or 7 different Ultra monsters from this series. And I definitely want to show off the Litra again, because he's got some very cool, like, pearlescent paints on him.
I like the purple too.
Yeah. And then the peacock like feathers in the back.
Yeah. That is, wow.
Beautiful piece. So very happy to have that in my collection. Thank you, Eric. And there we go. That's me covering Ultra Q, which of course was 1965. Let's crank the time dial over 1966, because it aired January 1966. And did I say when it ran? No, I didn't. So 28 episodes later, it ended. And what picked up right after that, David?
Well, before I pick that up, I'm going to say hello to Eric G from GFest. And Eric, we all know Eric.
What's up, dude?
Eric's not at GFest, just like us, so he decided to watch Collect All Monsters. So thank you for watching, Eric. We love that you're here.
Thank you very much.
And hopefully next year you'll join us at GFest, because I think we're going to all try to go. We talked about 100%. That earlier. But I just had to say hello to Eric and thank you for watching. We really appreciate you. So I'm going to pick up right where Kyle left off, because Ultra Q was very successful, very popular, but it had there's a little something was missing from it. It wasn't quite what Tsuburaya wanted to do. There was an element that was missing. And let me backtrack just a second, because as we alluded to before, sometimes Tsuburaya and Honda butted heads a little bit on the direction of the way the monsters were acting and the way the story would move forward. And Honda wanted a little bit more realistic, a little bit more gritty, but that was not what Tsuburaya wanted to do. He wanted to make it lighthearted and fun for the children. He didn't want to ruin their fantasy. And so he got the opportunity to do that in Ultra Q and in the next series, Ultra 7. So, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about Ultra Q2. Ultra Q was, of course, filmed in black and white, and it was inspired by Tsuburaya's love for the Outer Limits and the Twilight Zone, and you can definitely see inspirations and comparisons to those films. I see it myself, although those tended to be a little bit more adult, more serious, which those episodes were in Ultra Q, but they also had some childlike fun ones, like the Kanagon and the Pagos ones.
I love the Pagos episode.
Yeah, I love the Pagos episode. But like the Kimurjin, there's some creepy, like, and Baron Spider, they could have totally been episodes of the Outer Limits or the Twilight Zone. So I love it for that reason. I started watching Ultra Q kind of late in the game, like I was an adult when I saw them because we never got them on TV. But anyway, it was a huge success, and he wanted to take it to the next level. So they decided, his production company, with him at the helm, decided to introduce a superhero from outer space to help fight these monsters that were introduced in Ultra Q. And they also had help from, I can never remember what the acronym is, the Science Special Search Party, the SSSP, or what I know them as, the Science Patrol. So the Science Patrol was a global organization to defend Earth from terrestrial monsters and outer space aliens, but they needed some help, and they got that in the form of Ultraman, who was from from Nebula M78. Briefly, one of the Science Patrol members, Hayata, is chasing alien monster Bemlar, and Ultraman crashes into Hayata, killing him, and he feels terrible about it. It was an accident, it was a mistake. So what he does is he gives part of his life to Hayata, and he gives him the beta capsule, which can, when used, can transform Hayata into Ultraman. And thus, Ultraman is now on Earth. He's bound to Earth to help the SSSP, or the Science Patrol, fight these threats from outer space and from monsters on the planet. So, yeah, and it's interesting because that seemed to be the component that was the magic ingredient, because, you know, as we all know, fast forward to today, it inspired countless series in the line of Ultra series, and it's still today being utilized. And the most recent, the animated version that was on Netflix. But it's hugely iconic, and Ultraman to Japan is like Superman is to the United States. If you ever are lucky enough to go to Japan, Kyle knows this, Jonathan will find this out when he goes, you'll find much more Ultraman merchandise than Godzilla merchandise. It's just everywhere. There's just so much that's out there that exists. It's whimsical, it's fun. The nation embraces Ultraman as their national hero. So let's see, what else do I have here? No, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about the series, other than Tsuburaya actually utilized many of the suits and costumes that he created for not only for Toho but for Ultra Q. I'm going to give one example. Okay, so the first time we see Baragon in Destroy All Monsters, that suit was then repurposed for Pagos in Ultra Q. Then it was repurposed for Naranga and Ultraman. Then it was also repurposed for Magura in an episode of Ultraman, and then one more time repurposed for Gavora. And so he really got his money's worth from the special effects that he's created in the past, and suits and props. And you knew that there was some kind of cohesiveness between Tsuburaya Productions and Toho, because the sound effects were very similar. And the thing that got me even as a kid was the Science Patrol's phone ring is basically King Ghidorah. And anyway, and of course we know the disguised Godzilla suits in Gomez, as Kyle mentioned, and Jiras in the Mystery of Dinosaur Base episode. So, and again, this episode was kind of special for Tsuburaya and for all of us fans. It was fan service because we got to see, just for a split second, Ultraman versus Godzilla. So definitely iconic to me. I saw this series when I was a little boy. I must have been, I guess, second or third grade. And the first episode that I came across on Channel 17 was Gamora Part 1, The Monster Prince. So can you imagine, that was my starting point. So I saw Gamora Part 1, Part 2, and then Dada was the next. No, Goldon, and then Dada was the fourth one. And Dada scared the living bejesus out of me. I think that's a creepy ass episode. And again, like Jonathan said, that August had mentioned that they're going to release the English dub version, a high quality 4K. If you watch that, you'll hear the voices of the Dadas are very sinister and very feminine and very scary. And that always gave me the creeps. But Ultraman, again, impactful, not only in Japan, but here in the United States, for those who got Ultraman. Like some people, some coast, like the West Coast, I don't think got too much Ultraman. But Northeast, definitely, we were lucky enough to get that on TV. And I was lucky enough to be introduced to this as a little boy, as a child, which is the perfect age for it. And that's why I have love for it, appreciating the craft and the technique. I have love for it because also for the nostalgic purposes. And again, I love it. I always love it. And my favorites are Ultraman, Ultra Q, and I like the return of Ultraman. And I'm going to try to revisit Ultra 7 for Jonathan and John Bellotti, because I know they're and Leslie, because I know they're both huge fans. But all right, so I've talked enough about it. I'm going to show you my collectible choices for Ultraman. So I just decided to go with the basics. X Plus Large Monster Series, Ultraman Type A. Can't beat that. And then we've got my favorite, Ultraman Type B.
Yes.
And then, of course, I have to finish off with Ultraman Type C. All on the same scale. Phenomenal likenesses, just perfect. I'm very grateful to have these. And again, it just, every time I watch the show, it brings me back to my childhood. And I almost remember like what I was doing in my life when I first saw a particular episode, which is great. I love that. And just curious, guys, what is your favorite incarnation of Ultraman, A, B, or C? Kyle, what do you think?
Ooh,
I know I'm being Leslie today, so
I guess I would say, oh my God, that's right. We still have Leslie's questions.
Yeah, we do. Crap. I know.
Yeah.
I would say probably B is my favorite.
Right on. Me too. Jonathan?
B.
Oh, we're all Bs. I love it.
B.
I mean, if you think about it, the monsters that fight B are in my favorite sort of arena. And you know, he fought Gamora, Dada, Koronia, you know, definitely. Oh no, actually Koronia was C, my mistake. But again, you can't lose. They're all great and they're all amazing, and I love it. And I'm stoked for the news that the dubbed version, this English dub version, is coming out. So before because this was my last one, I am going to show you off the beautiful M1 Tsuburaya figure that I could not forget to show you guys. And then also this groovy little character that was created from Tsuburaya's signature. This is his signature, and there's a little creature, a little character that's created from that. And
wait, let me help you with that.
These two
I've got that. I've got his actual signature here.
All right, so let's compare. Let's see how close the figure got to it. Yep, there it is.
Oh yeah,
100%. It's definitely, that's this little creature. And how whimsical is that to get a creature like created from your freaking signature? That's cool. If that's not cool, I don't know what is. So anyhow, that's it. I'm done. I think we got who's next? Jonathan or
Jonathan's next, actually.
Okay.
Oh.
JP, let's do it.
I have a feeling I know what it is.
And I hate to say this, man, but we should probably hustle through these next ones.
Oh yeah.
Especially if we're going to cover Leslie's questions, and we've got the giveaway and the collector's.
Sorry, I was long-winded.
No,
okay.
so was I too. So, apologies to the audience.
Luckily, this next one will go pretty quickly because we all know and love this one. It's a fan favorite. It's one of the quintessential tokusatsu films of its time. We're going to talk a little bit about the War of the Gargantuas.
Amen.
Gotta say, one of the greatest films that they've done as a creative team. Some of the greatest visual set pieces and effects work by Eiji Tsuburaya and his team. And, that we're talking about from the beginning sequence in the water, with the storm raging, with the octopus and Gaira and his epic entrance. And we're talking about the scene at Haneda Airport. It's beautifully constructed, comes out of the water and goes back in the water. It really gives you a sense of like scale, and the violent nature of that scene too is quite striking. The mountain sets, I always was really astonished with the way they were able to capture the hillsides and the valleys and mountainous regions of the rural areas. Always loved that. It was very whimsical, very it's a very cool aesthetic. I always love seeing that stuff. So realistic. Look at that. Look at the scale of the mazer next to everyone. My God, they were so big. Even the set in Tokyo at the end, like everything about that film, there are so many massive set pieces that they created for this film. They pulled out all the stops, I will say, for a non-Godzilla film. And you could see the kind of quality that was being done around the time of like War of the Gargantuas, and as opposed to like, Ebirah. Like the quality is like night and day. Who was working on War of the Gargantuas. And this is not to slight anyone that worked on Sea Monster, but you got A team here, and you got B team over there. They were basically priorities were, let's get this one banked because we know who needs to work on this one, right? And even the suits with the little bit of makeup job, it's like the full mask, not a full mask as well, like of the Oni-like look of Gaira and Sanda. Like it's really quite amazing. Everything about this movie is incredible. The effects work is top notch, second to none. I don't know what some of the best stuff in this film was repurposed many times. Obviously the Mazer tank battle with Gaira. It's epic with the trees. The way they would just they would literally plant trees, right? The dedication to plant trees to then just make them look so realistic, but then to also make them fall down and look just as real. Like these things, they're timeless, and they'll forever be known as some of the greatest that have ever been on screen. And so with that sort of very fast-winded kind of overview of War of the Gargantuas, unless anyone else has anything else to interject, which I'll be happy to.
Yeah, just move. Great.
I'm going to move on.
You've summed it up.
Yeah, I'm going to move on to some of the collectibles I have. This Gaira and Sanda set is one of my favorites. Absolutely love it. I forget who does this actually.
M1.
Is it M1? M1,
Oh, yeah.
my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
M1. One of the greatest sets. I love the colors, everything about this in the sculpt is striking, the faces, everything about it. I love it. They managed to make Sanda look just as creepy as Gaira, so I
he does. He looks pretty evil.
Those eyes. He's nicer, I swear. He's nicer, I swear.
Oh, I know.
Another one that I love is the waxwork record, the vinyl with beautiful art. The beautiful artwork in this. I mean, my goodness. Whoever did the art for this, and I'm blanking on the person, forgive me right now, but artwork and design by Vance Kelly. There you go. Vance's attention to detail and understanding what to include. I mean, look at that.
It's phenomenal.
My goodness.
That's a great. I want to hang that up.
I know it's and even I'm not going to show it inside, but even the vinyl. Well, I'll pull out the vinyl spray. the Sonda spray, and then we have
On the green.
a Gyra spray.
Yep.
It's just well done. I really love what Waxwork did, especially with that Godzilla Showa era set. You know, they really ought to do like a Heisei era set and a Millennium set. And I know they did, like, they've done a ton of different individual things since then. I'm looking for things like the Mysterians in the future and yada yada, you name it. So get on it, Waxwork, please. And let's see, what else do we got here? Oh yeah, this is the last thing I'm going to show off. I have a few other things, but I'm only gonna be brief with this one. This is very nostalgic for me. It's a piece from my childhood I've kept, and it is one of my quintessential collectibles, the Paramount Gateway.
Nice.
VHS. I mean, look at that. Look, the way that they would, I mean, the Paramount Gateway covers always had this similar aesthetic in terms of the presentation, the monster classic, as it states right here. I would always see this in Suncoast, and I would pester my parents to buy it for me. And then finally, my mom saw one day. She was like, "I remember that movie. Yeah, you can get it." So it was actually one of her. She saw it with my uncle in theaters back in the day, and she thought she would go into the movie laughing at it, because she admittedly said she would laugh. Her and her friend would go see the movies with my uncle, and they would sit in the back and laugh at them. But she did say that this one did affect her. It affected her. She felt like deep emotions when she watched it. And so other people like Brad Pitt have also mentioned it as films that have affected them in the past. So
also Tim Burton too.
Tim Burton, 100%. So there you go, guys. That's my little take on one of a kaiju classic from Eiji Tsuburaya, War of the Gargantuas.
Love it.
Right on. All right. So back to me for a moment. I am going to blaze through this because I am not, let's start with the disclaimer. I am not some kind of crazy fan of this show who knows everything about the characters, show productions, actor, director, etc. But for the next few minutes, let me allow to close out my portion of this with little Tsuburaya magic. I am talking about Kaiju Booska.
Woo! Booyah!
And
bring on the Booska.
Now, I think what's important for me to say is the reason I'm not a crazy fan of this show is because it has never been brought to America, never been subtitled officially. I have only just recently started watching it. In fact, I'm only 2 episodes in. But let me get back over here. Kaiju Booska was produced by Tsuburaya directly after Ultraman. And it was produced not for TBS, but for Nippon Television, NTV, as it's known here in Japan, with a broadcast date of November 9th, 1966. There are 47 episodes of this. Goodness. And one thing I forgot to mention about Ultra Q was when they were talking about, when Tsuburaya Productions was talking about who's going to do the music for this, they talked about people that they had worked with at Toho, like Akira Ifukube, but I believe Hajime Tsuburaya suggested Kunio Miyauchi, who ended up doing all the music for Ultra Q, which has a very unique sound to it.
Love the music.
And then, in addition to that, he did the Ultraman themes as well, and would move on here to do the Kaiju Booska themes, which very, very catchy. Actually, last night after after I finished doing my research and I'm like, gotta go to bed, I had the Kaiju Booska theme bouncing around in my head for way too long, preventing me from going to sleep. If and hopefully someday somebody like Mill Creek will release this. The elevator pitch here would be, what if a monster lived in your home? This show is basically designed after the episodes of Ultra Q that were more childlike and more fun, like Kanagon's Cocoon. And so NTV wanted to have a kids show that would feature some Tsuburaya magic. And the show starts out, as I said to you guys earlier, very much like how Pee-wee's Big Adventure starts out, and like Wallace and Gromit starts out. This kid, Daisuke Tondon, is basically a kid inventor, and he has a small, believe it or not, pet iguana that he decides he wants to be like Godzilla. And so he creates this, he invents this little egg-like substance that he throws into the clay pot where his iguana lives. And instead of a Godzilla-like monster coming out, Booska comes out. Booska's only about like the size of a small, medium-sized dog at first. And then he grows to 30 times his size to a human size creation. And one of the things I wanted to say is that Booska is actually not like a kaiju, even though it's Kaiju Booska. You know how all the monsters of Tsuburaya are basically categorized? They have a subtitle, like Gomez is Ancient Monster, and Red King is Skull Monster.
Yep.
Well, Booska is a happy beast, is what they call him. So Booska is crazy, and I just want to say a couple quick little iconic moments of, not moments, but features of Booska. He dislikes conflict. He expresses his emotions in a Booska language where there's like these made up words. So even if you like, if you were studying Japanese and you wanted to watch this, there'd be things would be like, what did he just say? I don't recognize that. He has various superpowers, including human level intelligence, 100-ton strength, the ability to fly, become invisible. He can create clones of himself and shoot beams. When his his crest-like head has that little crown on top of it.
Yeah.
When that gets warm, he becomes smarter than a university professor. But when it cools down, he becomes as dumb as a kindergartner.
Oh,
and
Jeez.
His psychic powers use a substance called Buscanium.
I love it. Buscanium, I love it.
Anyway, one of the most, I'm actually just going to kind of zip through these real quick. One of the most important things to me about Booska, sorry for the crappy images, is the fact that he loves ramen, because I love ramen.
Me too.
I love ramen. And
Right
I'll
here,
show off a
dude.
cool figure in a second. But Booska was originally only supposed to be like 24 episodes or something like that. I think I have it in here somewhere. But the last few things I'll share about Booska were it was so popular and such a big hit that NTV actually asked for more episodes to be created. Plus, kids were like, oh, it'd be cool if like Booska had a brother or a sibling. And so they created a second character called Chamegon, which is sort of like a squirrel chipmunk-like version of the kid is so bummed when Booska shows up. With this like a version of Booska, so they have adventures together. I can't wait to actually watch the rest of this show because it's fun. I don't know if he steals a gun.
That's
from a
outrageous.
cop on his first day out. What he actually does that I recall is a cop tries to stop him, and he's kind of like, yeah, get off me. He's hungry. He's looking for ramen. I'm not going to explain the episode.
I love it.
The first episode in detail because it is a trip. But it's totally fun, totally hilarious. Definitely, I really do think that it deserves at least a Mill Creek Entertainment release, with subtitles and so forth. It might not be one of those ones that like gets picked up by a bunch of fans, but I think it's fun.
I
think it's cool. Let me just go ahead and show off my figure. This is so Booska, like we talked about, loves ramen. And one of the figure types is him with a ramen bowl. And not only does this one have a ramen bowl, but he's got this apron. And this was a release from the Hakuba Gallery. And it glows in the dark too. So it's like basically hitting on all these things that I love about.
I need one of those.
About
Yeah, that's
everything.
cool as hell.
And then one super quick thing I'll share. I think I also shared this either on the last episode or with Leslie's supplemental stream, but there was a blind box series and of Buskas, and so it looks like a little card in a with a header and everything. Isn't that cool? But it's like a miniature version of him. So
Who makes those? Is that Bandai?
This was a gacha series actually originally, and then they put it to it's actually, I can't even tell who makes this, but basically
That's
it's
cool as hell. Love it.
Yeah, somewhere I've got the card. Yeah, here's the description card for it.
Oh, so
that comes
cute.
in the box.
And those
So
are
they
the
have
choices
like
you get.
6 different versions of that you can get, but they're all Busca. They're all Busca.
Love it.
Anyway,
Excellent.
yeah, that's gonna be the Busca coverage. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to close you guys out there. What I will say is that we're just gonna go straight into Jonathan's final pick for Tsuburaya Magic, and that is what, my friend?
Well, it's interesting. Well, we went on an evolutionary journey here. We talked about Ultra Q. We talked about Ultraman. Well, now we're going to talk about something that wasn't initially intended to be an Ultra series. I'm, of course, talking about Ultra 7. Now, Ultra 7's my favorite Ultra series and favorite Ultraman. Exactly. I love everything about it, from the music to the visuals, to the story, to the characters, the Ultra Garrison, everything about the show I just am enthralled with. I initially saw it when I was a kid. It was actually believe it or not, it was one of the very first iterations of Ultraman that I was introduced to on my own. On a random Monday early morning, I was up, and on Monster Vision, they had these early morning hours on Monster Vision on TNT, and they would play Johnny Quest, but they'd also play episodes of Ultra 7. They call it was the TPS dub on TNT of Ultra 7 with a 7. And it had its own cartoon opening, its own interstitials, its own graphics package, and its own music that they would insert into it. And I fell in love with it. My dad would tape it every morning for me when we went to work, because I was not getting up at 4 in the morning every morning, surely as a kid. So I'm going to take you into a little bit of the history here of this show, because it's very interesting how this show how it evolved and came about. So basically, with the success of Ultraman, TBS really wanted a season 4 of Ultraman. And Tsuburaya was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not interested. But we will come up with some other ideas, and we'll float some ideas around, maybe come with something else. And so they're like, cool. So they gave him some time. The team got together and they thought of some different ideas. There was a bunch of ideas. I'm not going to go through all of them, but this one that was an early idea was of this show called the Ultra Garrison. And basically, it was penned as this highly trained group of astronauts. They're stationed on an artificial satellite, and they're there to protect and defend against, beings from outer space, from deep space. And so with a little bit of tweaking on various different ideas here and there, they ended up going back. It's funny that you had mentioned this, Kyle, about the early Woo idea of Ultra Q. The writing team went back to combine some elements of other things. They went back to the early Woo drafts, and they took some things from there, some ideas from that. One of them, these main ideas that they really loved, was about a stranger from a strange land having a kinship with mankind, but also a relationship. It's torn between the kinship of mankind and the intergalactic beings that are opposing mankind, essentially. And so they love that idea. And so that is how Ultra 7 essentially becomes what it is. And Tsuburaya intentionally wanted the monster line of Ultra Q combined with the Ultra Garrison aesthetic. So they kind of took some things and they mixed them around and combined them together to create what would eventually become Ultra 7. Now, in that process, towards the very end of it, they decided we wanted to add in an Ultraman-like entity or a character into this show to combine with the Ultra Garrison idea. So we get like an Ultraman Junior as a sorts. So then we get Ultra 7, but not Ultra 7 initially, more of an Ultra I, but Ultra 7 becomes the character. Ultra 7 being an honorary member of the 7th member of the Ultra Garrison team. that's where the Ultra 7 kind of moniker comes from. So what I love about what this show is, it's very unique because when I saw this at GFest, I was actually there a couple of years ago, and they had this on, and it was in black and white for some reason. And I remember saying to the guys, I was like, this kind of reminds me of Ultra Q in a way, the way it's presented in black and white. And it is no secret that that's exactly what Tsuburaya was going for, more of an Ultra Q throwback with this show. They wanted to do alien invaders as not as much as like, the Monster of the Week premise. But that was still a premise of the show. They still had Monsters of the Week, but it was more of an alien invasion show. And in that sense, because of budgetary restrictions, they wanted to focus more creatively on darker stories, on human stories. So you get a lot more Ultra Garrison individual concise stories. You get more nuanced stories of the human characters and the alien characters, deeper stories that go into socio-political ideas at the time, pollution, all these things that are happening in the real world. Tsuburaya said to his writing team, you guys go out, go wild, be creative, and tell stories of what things that are deep to you, that mean a lot to you. And that's what happens with Ultra 7. You get a lot of deep-rooted storytelling. You don't get a lot of the Monster of the Week stuff. You do get some of that still, but a lot of it is darker in tone. It's grittier. The budgetary restrictions really had to get creative. And you see that not only on the creative writing side, you see it on the production side and the editorial side. There's a lot of really cool things they do in the production, and that seeps through in the end product. And so Ultra 7 really is a creative feat of all the hands on deck, creating something that initially wasn't intended to be an Ultraman series, but then it became an Ultraman series. So that's why I love the sort of background because of this show and what comes from it. There's a famed 12th episode that is banned in Japan. It's banned worldwide. You haven't, not
Have you
even
ever seen it?
I have never seen it, but it's not. It's crazy. It's not even on the
I got you, bro.
The Malay. What was it? I would love to see it, by the way. And I've heard about the story. We're not going to get too much into it, but essentially there's Hiroshima connotations in it.
Alien spell, right? That's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens, basically like a mushroom cloud or a mushroom, like a Hiroshima style, like ish kind of.
The reason it was banned is because they someone felt like it looked a little too much like people who had been affected by the nuclear
scars,
bomb stuff with the scars and stuff. So, and their backstory as well is a little bit like that too. But yeah, I think I can't remember if I have somewhere I've got a digital file with it, but yeah.
When we were in Japan, Jonathan, with Kyle, I think it was the first time we were there. We saw in Nakano Broadway, they had in one of the showcase stores, they had an alien spell figure. I'll send you a picture of it, and I don't know who made it. It looks like it could be Marmot, but I'm not sure.
It's big too.
It's pretty big, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I truly gravitate to in this show is basically the storytelling, but there, also the music is great. And Tsuburaya had a direct influence on the music. He wanted something less akin to what had previously been had for the Kunio Miyauchi stuff, which he didn't want the jazz-like score. He felt with their show like this, there's something need to be more classical and darker. So he penned Toru Fuyuki to do the score. And to its point that the score is actually really, really good. It's very creepy at times. It's very atmospheric and very tonally darker than anything that we've heard so far. That would be the sort of standard going forward in a way. They kind of went away from the jazzy like interpretations from the original Ultraman and Ultra Q in favor of more. You'll hear Fuyuki stuff in the later Ultraman series kind of just pop up as cues in some of those shows.
And they also, Jonathan, they didn't utilize children at all. I think there's any episodes that have children in it, so it's
there are very few and far between, and they're very deep, more centralized emotional stories. They're not as whimsical, There are some top episodes I'd like to mention. This one, it's called, and this is the whole credit to the budgetary restrictions. There's an episode called Nightmare on Planet 4. It's essentially the Ultra Garrett, the team gets stuck in this alternate Earth that's ruled by robots that they hold humans as captors, and they're forced to do horrible things. It's almost like a Hunger Games situation on this alternate Earth. A really creative way to utilize storytelling in an episode where there's not a lot of budget. The Saucers Have Come, Nightmare, Duel of Man and Seven. It's the Imitation Ultraman or Imitation 7 episode, if you will. The Terrifying Super 8-Man, which was an episode that eluded me forever until I saw it on Blu-ray, because it's one of those episodes. It was one of those shots that they would show on the American promos for Ultra 7 for TNT. You saw him do the thing with the eye. He had like these laser eyes that they would shoot out. It's got a pretty crazy story too to it. And then the 7 Assassination Plan Part 1 and 2 with Alien Guts is probably more in line in terms of infamous with Bolton from Ultraman. Alien Guts is like that true one foe of Ultraman that comes in like Bolton, much like Bolton does in the original series. Top Kaiju from the series, obviously we have King Joe, Edla King. We have Alien Guts, Winda Miklas as the capsule monsters. I'm forgetting one other one as well. Yes.
Aguilar, yeah.
Yes. And then Alien Metron. And, also this show, and I will say one last thing about it. This show also employed some creative directors. One of them that would always be like sort of a mainstay, come in and create these really artistic episodes. One of them is the Alien Metron episode. It's the famed shot with the sunset in the back before they're about to duel.
It's beautiful.
And you would see that aesthetic show up in future. They would pay homage to it in future Ultraman shows.
That was Akio Jisoji, right?
Jisoji was one of the greats, and he was a guy you could tell his episodes are always felt in Ultra 7 because they're very poignant, very emotionally charged, and very artistically directed and produced. David, definitely, I would at some point I would love to watch some of these episodes with you because
I want to revisit it.
Really be impressed by the quality in terms of the budgetary restrictions, but also you wouldn't know it because they really do such a great job of showcasing this show in all of its glories. It's what we said earlier about Tsuburaya and his team basically doing everything with nothing. And with that sort of long-winded, exacerbated explanation, that is my pick of Ultra 7.
That's great. That's good.
How about your collectible?
And my collectibles. Yes, thank you. Jeez. So it's funny. I actually forgot to mention this. One of the early iterations of Ultra 7's design, he was supposed to be blue and silver. So I always wondered now if Max Toy, if this is a callback to the original design. Probably is. I don't know. I'll have to ask Mark.
Yeah.
And so we have these two Max Toy iterations here, the OG colorway and the blue.
I like the blue, actually.
Could be the OG concept colorway. But I love these by Max Toy. Great designs, great execution. I love I love the height. I love the size. Great figures. We have here, obviously, the Mill Creek Ultra 7 Steelbook. This is a quintessential right here. Love it. It's got a great booklet too, with Ultra 7's Ultra 7's history. It has Alien and Kaiju bios, as well as an episode list with number 12 mysteriously missing. Not mysteriously, but infamously missing. And this is a collectible that is kind of all-encompassing Ultraman, but if you ever get a chance, the Yuji Keita book with his art has some amazing artwork of Ultra 7 in here. Just incredible.
Perfect.
So, that's pretty much it, guys. I think that's all I got here.
All right.
So, we banged it out.
So I think what I'm going to do is make the executive decision that we're not going to do Leslie's questions. Sorry, buddy. Thank you for asking them.
Where's the trombone?
Maybe we can do them in the group or something like that. Or I'm not sure. Idea. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Because what I definitely want to do is I wanted to talk about one final thing as a celebration of Tsuburaya's legacy, and that was something that opened in 2019 up in Sukagawa. There is a museum, which is actually more of a part of a library, but it's still pretty awesome. And so what I'm going to do is share the video. And David and I went together in 2019. So let's go ahead and fire that up, and we'll just talk about it as this goes. It opened in 2019, and we went in February. So
that's correct.
Yeah, we went right after it opened, pretty much, or really close to after it opened. There are Ultraman and Ultra Kaiju statues lining the road leading up to the Tete building, which is the name of the community center where the Tsuburaya Museum is housed. And also on the first floor, they have human-size alien Bolton, Red King, and King Joe statues. So there's a lot. If you're an Ultra fan and you come to Japan, I definitely think you should go check this out.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and this is up in Fukushima Prefecture, so it's about an hour and a half away on the bullet train from Tokyo.
There's the King Joe. I forgot about the King Joe.
So cool. Oh my god.
The museum is on the 4th floor, I believe, and it's basically sort of this long stretch where they've got a ton of books on display, because it is kind of like I said, a library. But there's a lot of really cool features of the museum. One of which we just saw was a life-size Godzilla 1954, which was sculpted by Yuji Sakai, I think in like 2015 or something like that. And that is wonderful to have on display. They also, I should say real quick, they didn't allow video when David and I went, and they have really relaxed a lot of their restrictions. You still can't shoot the video of the short video that they play there. But David, why don't you talk a little bit about some of your favorite aspects of the museum?
Sure. My favorite aspect was the video presentation that you mentioned. It was a modern take on like a scene from 1954. It was just so great and kind of like something that I would love to see on the big screen in a full feature film. I think we watched it twice. It was just so great. And again, I'm hoping that someday it will be available to purchase on a video disc or something, or a Blu-ray, because I would just love to own that. But what Kyle was saying too is, among the books that are curated there, they also had like a Mothra, and they had the inspiration of like an Audubon book of different types of moths that the artists would get inspiration from. And I think you may see some of that. Oh yeah, and then this room had many reproductions of how they film. Like that's the big pond, and the other one is just like it depicts the creation of these films, and it's just so beautiful. And wow, they really did loosen their standards, because we couldn't even. They were like, no picture before.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But it's if like Kyle said, if you're ever in Japan and you find yourself with a day free, it's worth the hour-and-a-half trip to Fukushima. And when you leave the train station to head towards the museum, there's not only banners on the telephone poles, there's also creatures that we saw in the images, like from Ultraman, Ultra 7, Ultra Q, Ultraman Taro, the heroes and the villains lining both sides of the street, and it's pretty damn cool. And then once you get to the museum, next door to the museum, or one or two doors down, there's a little shop called Nebula M78, where they have a whole bunch of memorabilia from Tsuburaya, because that's his hometown. And there's artwork, there's things to buy, there's replicas, there's props. It's just a nice little addition to seeing the museum, because there really was nothing to buy in the museum, Kyle, if I'm not mistaken, right? They had a Gashapon machine, that's it, right?
Huh.
And
I think now they have like you can buy maybe a couple of books at the desk upstairs, but yeah,
but there was nothing to buy there.
No souvenir shop, yeah.
No, but Jay Key from Toku Toy Town was there in Japan recently, and he shot a video that you can catch on his YouTube channel, where it looks like there was a shop in the area that looked like it had a lot of stuff that like could
Yeah.
have been in the museum. You know what I'm talking about, Kyle?
Next door, yeah. So next door to the museum now, there is it's a souvenir, an omiyage style shop.
Yes.
Where you can get stuff from Sukagawa in the back of the store, but all at the front of the store, there's just a ton of toys and collectibles. I walked out of there with, I don't use it anymore because it broke, but I had like a mug, a coffee mug that had like the Bullmark figures on it. And I also got a Jamila plate that had like Jamila as his face, and we have that downstairs with some like
look at
rice
that.
crackers in it.
Look at those.
So check these out. These are little things. They had a big bin full of these little finger puppet things too.
Oh, that's cool.
At Nebula M78, really fun. And
very cool.
And you know, look at that P1. That's great. Yeah, we couldn't take any photos of these when we were there.
Wow.
I know a couple of them were done on the slide, but these are just like videos. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, they had no restrictions on what they basically were like, don't shoot the video of the video they play. So this whole area was awesome. This showing off like the legacy, the history of Tsuburaya in film. It's really totally worth checking out and worth really looking at and seeing all the little details that they have here. And of course, there's a ton of like books and stuff too.
There's an auction
that you can
replica.
look at.
I mean, there's just and again, a lot of it's curated so well where it takes you on a timeline of his life and his projects, and it's not big, but it's complete. It's curated beautifully. It's like enough. I don't think it's quality, not quantity, in this museum. And again, please go if you get a chance to go to Japan. And it's just a short walk from the train station to the museum itself. And it was definitely a highlight of our trip to Japan for sure.
These are really super. These are cool. Like
every
the little interpretation.
I love those too. Yeah.
Kyle, I don't remember seeing the one that you showed with the planes hanging from the rafters. I don't remember seeing that display. Is that new?
Oh, that was on the backside of the miniature room.
Oh, I don't remember. I guess I missed that. I didn't see that because that's super cool. That's cool as hell, you know. But yeah, no, great stuff. Great memories.
It's a wonderful place, you know, and like David said, I agree. It's small but impactful. So if you go up there, just be aware, you know, like when we say Tsuburaya Museum, you're not talking about a gigantic like institution building. This is basically a tribute to Tsuburaya in his own hometown. So I love it. I will always want to go back up. In fact, this stuff was shot last year in November when I was hanging out with Ken Abraham, who used to work with Lucasfilm back in the day. And so I was like, hey, do you mind if I tag along? And I went up there with them. And we not only went to the Tsuburaya Museum, but I think during COVID, a secondary location opened up called the Sukagawa Tokusatsu Archive Center.
Oh, wow.
And like, if you've heard me talk about briefly, hopefully, about Yuji's collection of props, you might recollect that I said, like, man, this stuff needs to be, some of this stuff is in a little bit of a state of disrepair. This stuff really needs to be like housed correctly. So that is currently what that is like. So if you go to Sukagawa, unfortunately, it's not really close to the Tsuburaya Museum. So my suggestion would be to go up there, go to the Tsuburaya Museum, and then take a cab from the Tsuburaya Museum to the Archive Center, because the Archive Center is pretty cool, and they have a big warehouse of props and stuff. They've got this huge room that's behind glass that has tons of props out on tables.
Oh my gosh.
It's really cool to see. Plus, as you're walking through the center, there's other things that are on display that you're like, oh my gosh, that's a Kamen Rider statue, or that's the backdrop from this movie, or that's this or that. And then there's like a miniature room as well that you can sort of like walk around the buildings, get a picture of you like being a monster behind some like in the on the horizon, essentially. So, but it is not something you can easily get to when you're talking about areas outside of Tokyo and the major cities. Some of the public transit that we applaud and like praise from the big metro cities does not exist up in the the boonies, as it were. So just a heads up, if you're going up there, definitely go to Sukagawa. Definitely check out. I mean, I have done the tour guide thing before.
Well, possibly in November.
Yeah, let's do it in November. Go up to the Sukagawa Archives Center, Tokusatsu Archive Center, and the Tsuburaya Museum. So we're gonna end that there. That's the end of that segment. We need to move on to the collector's moment and the giveaway. So, David, Dopko, thank you to all 30 people who have stuck around for this 3-hour broadcast. I thought we were originally not going to be doing this for so long because it was just the three of us. But hey, you know what?
You're all real
people
ones.
don't care.
Three of us like to talk.
They love
the problem. That's the deal.
So this is the M1 Maquette Godzilla in the clay style. And did I already make the winning? No, I did not. Let me actually do that real quick. So, David, talk us through this real quick.
Sure. This one was released a few years ago, and it's a blank, but it's supposed to. It's not a blank because it's not done. It's supposed to be depict the clay sculpture of the maquette, and it does come with a little wooden base and a little like sculpting tool. It's just in the box. I haven't taken it out, but it does come with this with those not features. What am I?
Accessories.
Accessories. Yes, thank you, Kyle. I can't speak today. Yeah, with those accessories. So yeah, it's a beautiful figure. And again, there's been many different colorways of this particular M1 figure, and I think this is pretty unique, though. I mean, I'm not usually a fan of blanks, but in the context of what this is supposed to be, I think it's suited to be a blank, to be monochromatic and a blank. So, thanks, Nathaniel. You're awesome. Nice to say. But yeah, so this can be yours if you are so lucky to win our giveaway. And again, thank you so much to our amazing anonymous donor. We still have quite a few things to give away over the next couple of months, so always stay tuned, and we try to preview it a couple weeks before the actual episode airs, so you can get your juices flowing and say, I think I have to watch the whole damn show because I want that figure.
That's right. You got to stick around for the full 3 hours, guys.
You guys stick around. All right. Anyway,
now how do we do the giveaways? Yeah. How do we do the giveaways here? What we do is, if you're watching live on YouTube and on Facebook, we accept the entries as comments. And so what we ask you to do is put in this phrase. Today is going to be hashtag win the clay. Win the clay. So pop that into, thank you very much. To pop that into the chat if you'd like to be the winner of this. And then what we do is we allow those comments to come in while we're doing the collector moment. And then when the collector moment's over, we use the StreamYard giveaway tool to magically pick the winner. So I'm going to go ahead and take the banner off the screen, and let's go ahead and Jonathan, are you ready for the collector moment?
I am.
All right. All right, take it away, Mr. Portman.
Everybody, we're back with a my collector moment for today's episode. We're going to do this one a little differently because it is GFest currently. We are doing a little bit of a GFest retrospective, a GFest memory look back here. And so I'm kind of going to let David help me out with this walkthrough, because a lot of these photos come courtesy of his memories. And then we have some members that he has curated. Geez, can I say that? Curated for us to go through as well. So let's take it away. Oh, look who it is.
Oh,
the OG
look. Okay. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kyle, wasn't this our first planning meeting that we had when we decided we're going to
literally right after the planning meeting.
Right after the planning meeting.
Yeah, we had already like decided what we were going to do, and like we all gathered so we could sit down in person and talk about the panel and talk about the show as a whole. Yeah.
And now it's 5 years later. Look at this. Look at this crazy.
I know, right?
To be a fly on the wall for that would have
It's
been
probably 6 years later since this photo was taken.
You're right.
Yeah.
And what's
Yeah.
interesting is, Kyle and, all of us, Christine, Leslie, John, we all had things going on at that particular G-Fest. And we had, people that we usually hang out with in the morning. And like, everyone's like, where are those guys? Because we didn't tell anybody. This was like kind of on the DL, So it was great. It was a great feeling. And we're like, we're going to make this work. And I think so far we've made it work. And we're still as enthusiastic as we were on that first day. And, sometimes we may not have the entire crew, but we're all always together in spirit. And as long as you guys keep watching,
Yep.
we're gonna keep
2019 G-Fest is when
That's
this
right.
happened. Yep.
That's exactly right. And real quick, Goji Fan 1975, thank you. That's a very nice thing to say. You want to put his comments up there? It's very sweet. I'll put my glasses on so I can actually read it. But it makes us feel good.
Oh yeah, yes. I was going to put this one up before yeah, it is. It's a great one.
And that's why we do what we do, and it's just as helpful for us too, because we were feeling the FOMO just like everybody else, and we've concluded that the only remedy to that is to make sure we all get our asses there next year. So we will be doing
100%.
All right, let's move on. Let's go, because I know it's over 3 hours. My goodness gracious.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, so this was actually an unofficial sort of collect all monsters sort of like incarnation. This is we did a little panel in one of the big ballrooms at G-Fest at the Crown Plaza with the Nishimura's Yuji Amishi, and that was really fun, and I love it. And this picture is from Robert Moreno. Thank you, Robert.
Nice, very cool.
It's always a pleasure to meet the people that create the toys and figures and models that we love. So we were honored to take Matsubara-san and G Akamoto from X Plus out to pizza dinner. This wasn't Giordano's. We went to another place, it was good, but it wasn't as good, and the thing about it is it wasn't crowded and we got in right away. And I think they really enjoyed themselves. So
beautiful.
Two great guys. I used to do photographs for G-Fest, and I was always invited to the meet and greets, which is great. And I got to meet and greet everybody and shoot their photos. And this is just the lineup of celebrities that were here. I guess it's 2018. I mean, look at that lineup. I mean,
wow,
just amazing. Just amazing.
Wow, talk about lineup.
And this is just another iconic lineup. I don't remember what year that was, but you can see, there's some.
That was
22?
No, that would be 2018, I think.
I mean, Satsuma-san, I just seeing him alive, and happy, and just makes it all worthwhile for me. And everybody seems so happy, and it's a great shot, if I do say so myself.
It is, absolutely.
Let's see. There you go, Jonathan. This one's for you. There's the composer 100%. Of some of my favorite Millennium Godzilla films.
100%.
Yep. And there's Kyle.
That's Michiru Oshima for anybody.
Oshima, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I couldn't think of her first name, and I didn't want to get it wrong, so I was hoping you would do that. Hoping you would chime in. And this is, of course, Takarada, just being Takarada, being a lovely human being, and of course, Diane Dougherty and Takarada having a little intimate moment, and I was just blown away. I have a picture of me in between these two wonderful actresses, Linda Jo Miller, and of course Hiroko Sakurai, who is at G-Fest right now. And I'm bummed that I don't get to give her another hug and take another photo. But she's her English is not good, but that's fine. She just exuded warmth and gratitude and hospitality from the moment that I laid eyes on her. And just seeing her, watching her on the screen as a little boy, it was just like full circle for me. So
she's so sweet too, extremely sweet.
And she just loves the admiration and she's grateful. Another great shot. There is Megumi Odaka signing John Bumpus's glow-in-the-dark Marmot Biolante Rose.
Wow.
Murase-san with his Mighty Peking Man replica, which he actually did get into that suit at some point.
Yeah, I did.
That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite pictures right before he passed away, with Christine and the baby in the middle. Just incredible.
Koichi Kawakita.
And again, the stars of Tomoko Ai, and I cannot remember his name.
Katsuhiko Sasaki.
Sasaki-san and Tomoko Ai. That was my very first G-Fest. They were lovely, and it was great to see them back together. And they, could not have been nicer. And I've told the story many times about my interaction with Tomoko Ai. I'll spare you now, but those who know it, it's a wonderful story. She's great. Okay, now here we start some of the photos that were submitted to us.
Look at little Adam.
Little Thirsty Thursday toys, with his G-Fest haul from, I'm not sure what the date of that is, but he looks pretty young.
I was going to say,
everybody looks young compared to me, but that's beside the point. He's in his Crown Plaza room with his haul. Love it. And I don't remember this dude's name, Jonathan. I gave it to you, but this is his G-Fest haul and looks wonderful. Thank you for submitting that.
Yes, because I want to be very.
I'm not good with names.
Frank
today.
Gillen. I want
Gillen.
to get everyone's names.
Thank you, Frank, for submitting that photo. That G-Fest memory.
Right, cool. And the next one.
And this is
Nice.
Larry Latham
Hey.
and the great Akira Takarada. At one of the meet and greets over the years.
What year do you think that was? Does it say?
That's not my photo, so I think that's that. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what year that is.
Hey,
and there he
it
is,
is.
Ray 2D2. That I guess I'm not sure if that was your first G-Fest or one of your G-Fest, but that's a great picture.
It's a great shirt too by Seagulls.
Welcome to G-Fest, and again, thank you for submitting it. Appreciate that.
And of course, we have to put Robert.
And of course, Robert Dwyer, who's been, I think he has the honor of attending every single G-Fest that there ever was from the beginning, right, Kyle? If I'm not mistaken. If
it's not every single one, it's really close.
It's really close. The COVID don't count, but everyone
So
that
close.
was, yeah. And Robert is a G-Fest staple, and he's a big champion in Kaiju Jeopardy. Toho Jeopardy, whatever they're called, Kaiju Jeopardy.
Yeah, and he'll let you know it too.
Yeah, he wins all the time. He's got a lot of information under that cap. And I don't remember this gentleman's name, but yeah, do you remember his name? Jonathan, did I get that to you?
Yes, it is Christopher Spockman. He's with Kitagawa.
Is with Kitagawa, yep. I don't remember what year that was either. That must have been
That doesn't look like G-Fest.
Oh, maybe it's not even G-Fest, but
Is
hey,
that not G-Fest?
it's a great moment. Yeah, it didn't look like any room that I recognized, but hey, it's cool. Thank you for submitting it.
And that is, ladies and gentlemen, the collector's moment for episode 66.
All right. Excellent. All right. So while that's been going, we have been collecting the hashtaggery.
Collecting all hashtags.
And let's go ahead and switch over to the screen share of the giveaway tool and start collecting the comments to see who's going to win this M1
Oh boy.
clay maquette prototype style figure
With
of the
base and
13
tool.
entries. Oh, clicking on the wrong thing. There we go. Here we go. Mark Rodriguez!
Oh, Mark Rodriguez.
What's up, dude?
Wow. Congratulations, Mark.
Nice. I like that, Jonathan. Congratulations, Mark. Reach out to us. David's going to be the one shipping this out. If you're connected with him, go ahead and shoot a message to him. If you're not, you can shoot a message to me with your address, and we will get that shipped out to you. And congratulations I absolutely do love this figure. It's a great representation of the Maquette version of Godzilla. And when they actually did, I want to just say real quick, they did put this out before with almost like a more realistic kind of colorway, like with the paint job and stuff like that. I don't remember when it was. It was like one of the Wonder Festivals or Super Festivals. They put this out, and the picture showed it with the base and with the sculpting tools on it. It is so freaking cool. Like, it is like owning a little piece of history. We shared it in our social media, but there's actually a photo of the original sculptor. I think his name's Tezo, who made the original sculpt, and it does look like you have a little version of that, like you've reached back in time and pulled that through the computer screen or the books. Cool. It's so cool. So congratulations, Mark.
You know, it's funny, there's a full circle moment here, because earlier in the chat I noticed this comment from Mark, and I gotta post it now because it's so fitting. I'd love to win that, but I don't see it happening. LOL.
There you go.
Well,
never say never.
It happened.
So just full disclosure, when I shot the promotional photo to share on social media, we actually have another blank to give away, which is a different shade of green. And that one did not come with the base. That's just a blank, but this is the one that you're getting. You're getting the one that comes with the actual piece. So spoiler, we have another one to give away in the future. But yeah, so this is the one you'll be getting. If you say, oh wait, how come it's more green? Because I photographed the wrong one and not realizing it. But this is the one you're getting, which actually looks better. Looks actually more like a piece of clay than the other one does.
For sure. Okay, well, that is going to do it. We are literally at 3.5 hours of a stream.
Can you believe that?
Congratulations to my co-hosts. Congratulations to all the people that stuck around. We are not going to be talking about much more, but we will be back for more on August 16th for our next full episode. Thank you for sticking around and being here. I am going to go ahead and do my final bits because until next time, our planet may be doomed, our Earth devastated, the monsters are in revolt, and civilization is in chaos, and together we must unite and collect all monsters. See you guys.